He was living on the moon, dude.
He was living on the moon.
That's like one of the first things
like
you see.
Sam Rockwell.
I haven't seen Moon, dog. Stop.
That's not a spoiler.
But you're just like rubbing it in.
The movie is called Moon.
You're just rubbing it in.
Starring Sam Rockwell.
It'd be funny if you were talking
It's
about
a
a different
very
movie.
easy movie to spoil. Trust me, that is not one of the spoilers.
We in. What's going on, guys? Welcome. Welcome to the Chris and Kyle show.
To the new set.
And welcome back to James and Audrey.
Yeah.
Welcome back, guys. We missed you.
guys.
How was storage? Was it lonely? Yeah, that's what I thought. They don't talk much.
No, they probably liked it. They got busy.
That's true. All that time alone?
Yeah.
Yeah, probably.
Can you blame either of them?
Nope, not at all. Couldn't blame them. So yeah, welcome to Chris and Kyle show. He is Chris. I'm Kyle. And we're going to dive in with our tea. You want to talk about these trailers and stuff? Movie stuff first?
Yeah. Yeah, let's do that. So, I just watched 4 trailers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Just trailers that came out this week.
Okay, let's the first one, let's just cast this off because I don't want to talk about it.
No, it's going to be a conversation because I think I know what you're about to say.
You're right. You want to say it on 3?
Mm-hmm.
1, 2, 3.
Frozen.
2.
This is a conversation to have.
I don't like Frozen, man.
You don't like Frozen.
Okay, I've seen Frozen one time.
Okay.
I've seen Frozen one time,
It's not enough.
and it's enough for me.
I've seen Frozen like 9 times.
You also have like younger.
Mm-hmm. I got younger
Siblings.
sisters.
Yeah,
And
you
when
got
Frozen
younger
came out,
sisters.
they were even young. Like now they're in high school. But when Frozen
Right.
came out, they were in like middle school or something.
Prime demographic.
They were babies.
Mhm.
I love Frozen. And I won't get too.
I like most frozen foods.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah, frozen pizzas,
Yeah.
TV dinners.
Okay. Interesting.
And
Listen, I won't dive in too deep, but the Frozen 2 teaser came out, and because you won't talk to me about it because you don't like Frozen for some reason, I had to dive into Slack with our friends from Florida, and I was throwing around my theories, dog. That trailer got the gears turning. The trailer and the poster, and I was like, yo, there's some stuff that I was digging out.
there were some
Doing
cool
some
images.
There's some,
I'll give you
dude, that teaser trailer is beautiful.
that. Yeah,
It's gorgeous.
yeah. I'll never say that Frozen's a bad movie. I just to me it's just very meh.
It's
and
gorgeous.
and I don't think that it's made for me. So
It's not made
know,
for you.
Yeah.
But it is made for me.
I'll say this: the beginning part with her fucking
On
trying
the
to
water?
go across the ocean and it's like storming and she's
I think she's trying to
cool.
escape. I think she's been marooned or something. She's trying to escape. That's one of my
like
theories.
it makes me think like oh like that could just be a short like
Yeah.
like someone with ice superpowers trying
Yeah.
to get across a
Dude,
stormy
I saw
ocean.
a bunch of people on Twitter making Frozone jokes. And I was like, y'all, Iceman been doing this way before Frozone. Keep up. Keep up. Iceman first, dog.
Yeah, but Iceman's also not in like the animated film zeitgeist of Disney.
Do you think
like,
I care about the animated film zeitgeist when the 90s X-Men cartoon exists? One of the best theme songs ever. Anyway, I got a lot of theories. I'll keep it quick. I looked at the poster, and the snowflake has 4 different symbols, and I got all these theories about, like, I think each symbol represents a season, and each season is related to an element and shit. I think they're going to go on some kind of adventure and find other elementally powered people, and I think we maybe saw a wind-powered one in the trailer, because there's a shot where, like, Anna gets thrown up in the sky.
Yeah,
Yeah, dude.
there's gonna be an Earth, Wind, and Fire.
Hype.
Do you remember?
Because after I saw that movie the very
Twilight's
first
night
time,
is
don't do
September.
that. You'll get me going. The very first time, in a good way, not in a bad way. I feel like I said that aggressively. I love that song. I feel like the first time I saw that movie with my sisters, I was like, yo, I bet you when they make a sequel, there's going to be some kind of like fire princess or something they have to deal with. And my sisters were like, that's probably true. And I still stand by the fact that there's going to be elemental characters, and I think one of them will definitely be fire. But I think it's going to be seasonal, which I think is cool. But anyway, you don't like Frozen, so it's not exciting to talk about it like this.
I don't dislike it. It's just like I said,
Listen,
it's
man.
meh.
Listen, I'm going to say this
The
about
shot
Frozen.
of her fucking like she's in like Ring of Fire, and she's like fucking doing the Frozone shit. But I like that shot. That was a cool shot.
There's a lot of beauty. It's beautiful, Doug. And the song, that's when she leaps right as the choral singing kicks in. Oh, it's so cool. I was like, oh, I got little shivers. Right. Very cool. And you know what? Let It Go gets a bad rap because it was so overexposed to the world. Let It Go is a great song. And because I'm smart and don't listen to the radio, I wasn't overexposed to it. So I'm not tired of it. I'm just going to throw that out there. Stop listening to the radio.
Would you say that you're smart because you don't listen to the radio?
Oh yeah, the radio sucks. Get Spotify or Apple Music or anything like that.
I agree with
the radio
you,
sucks.
But I wouldn't say that like you're. I would don't push some kind of superiority on people just because you don't listen to the radio. And maybe there's people out there that can't afford Spotify.
That's true. If you're one of those people, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to offend you, and I'm also sorry.
Also, I'm also listening to this podcast?
True. Well, it doesn't have to be on Spotify. We're also available on Apple Music and Google Play and Stitcher and other stuff.
I guess. Yeah, you could have
Apple Music is free if you have an iPhone. What was the other? Which one you talk about next? Because there's 3 other ones.
Should we talk about something that I actually got excited for? I laughed a couple times.
Yeah, was it yesterday?
Yesterday.
Okay, so I wanted to talk about this for a couple reasons. One, I liked the trailer a lot. It was a really interesting idea. The trailer's pitch is essentially a struggling musician gets knocked on the head, and when he wakes up, no one in the world has heard of the Beatles. Right. So he starts performing the Beatles songs and becomes really famous. And everyone thinks that he's this genius songwriter, which I think is a really fun idea. And also, Lily Evans is in it. So, or not Lily Evans. Jesus. Oh my God, my brain.
Lily Collins?
No.
Lily Tomlin.
No, dude.
Lily.
Cinderella. Oh my God. Lily James.
Lily James.
Baby Driver. Cinderella. Lily James.
Who's Lily Collins?
Phil Collins'
Phil
daughter.
Collins' daughter. What was she in?
She's in the Tolkien trailer that we're also going to talk about.
Oh, okay.
Weirdly.
Stick with yesterday.
Yeah, yesterday.
Yeah. Seems really funny.
Yeah.
I
think it's a fun idea. Interesting take.
Well, and just the first time that you kind of get the premise, I thought it was like a one-off joke. I thought it was like a stupid oh, look how dumb she is.
Nope.
Because he plays yesterday in front of
really
Lily
beautifully.
James. Yeah.
And like her mom or something.
Yeah, and parents or whatever.
Yeah.
But he's sitting there with his acoustic guitar playing yesterday. And she's like, "Oh my God!"
She's like crying.
When did you write that?
Yeah.
And he's like, "I didn't write that.
Yeah.
Paul McCartney
wrote that." And they're like, "Who?"
Yeah. And at first you're like, "Oh, that's a stupid joke." And
no, that's the movie.
Yeah, that's the movie.
Yep.
I thought it was really funny. Like it philosophically is a really interesting
it's a
idea.
Fun idea.
Like,
wouldn't you do the same thing?
Is it plagiarism? Is it? I don't think I could. I don't think I could do that.
Well, I couldn't do it because I don't play guitar or piano. Like I couldn't make the songs.
But
nor do I know the Beatles catalog well enough.
But I'm not sure if okay, so if if that happened to you, right, where you got into it was like a bus crash or something.
Yeah, it was something where he banged his head somehow.
Yeah, and you woke up in some type of reality where I would be like, okay, I know that I just got hit on the head.
You'd think you were crazy?
I would think I was crazy. I would think that there's something wrong with my brain, and it's making me think that something is real when it's not.
Maybe.
So
then you
if
would
I'm
start
playing these songs,
well, yeah, but then if you tried it one time, it just wouldn't work. What? People would be like, "Dude, that's a Beatles song. You can't do that." You just try to perform it one time. Because I think he goes on a local radio station and he does a song. They're like, do a song, write a song. Oh, I think they're like, write a song right now.
He goes, something in the way that she moves.
Yeah, he just does a Beatles song.
In front of Ana de Armas. Beautiful woman.
I like Lily James. The other reason I want to talk about that movie is because you heard this today. Somehow this song came up a lot this week in my life. The cover of Yesterday by Marvin Gaye is so stupidly good.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe I'd never heard it. 2, I couldn't believe it existed.
Right.
It's so stupid good.
Yeah.
Paul McCartney like admitted it's better than the Beatles version. He just Marvin Gaye.
It's bone chilling.
Marvin Gaye's a fucking genius.
It's hair
What
raising.
rest in peace. The dude was just
It's
phenomenal.
boner giving.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like the way that Marvin Gaye was able to sing so precisely and soulfully at the same time is so crazy.
Well, like, do you notice, like, I don't know a lot about singing, but I feel like there's like so many singers that like when you say precisely, you're talking about like notes and stuff, right? And like precise runs. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah.
Because like there's
but also like
there's
his diction in singing and things like that as well.
Okay. But there's like a freedom that you kind of notice with soul singers, like the Otis Reddings, the Sam Cookes, and the Marvin Gayes of the world. Like that, like there's a freedom when they sing that like you can tell. Like Amy Winehouse said this in her documentary. She said that every time she sings something, it's like it's always something new. You know, she doesn't try to sing the same thing twice.
Okay.
And like jazz singers always do that.
Yeah.
I'm not even sure if Amy Winehouse said that or if somebody else said that about Amy
yeah.
Winehouse. Like it was like Tony Bennett or something like that. But yeah, like really good jazz singers always have like that kind of versatility in the way that they approach a song.
Yeah.
And it kind of comes a lot through soul singers as well, like soul R&B singers that are really talented, really well respected. Like I feel like every time I hear them sing, it's like, oh, this is a completely different take than what I've heard before.
Well, and there's something about, I think especially in Marvin Gaye's music, where it's like, you were talking about freedom. He's so free, like rhythmically within the confines of music. I feel like he. The other thing I watched for the first time this week was his national anthem at the NBA All-Star game a long time ago.
Right.
And I was like, it's so different that, like, I was thinking about that tonight when we were watching the All-Star game, and
Anthony Hamilton.
Anthony Hamilton performed it, and he did a kind of a similar thing where he had musicians out there with him, and it was cool, but it wasn't as good as Marvin Gaye's was. But like the
And
national
neither
anthem
are as good as Fergie's. I mean,
I'll say stop. It's so bad. It's so stupid. Like the national anthem is. We're gonna have to avoid playing footsie on his desk, dog.
go back.
Yeah, that's a problem. Yeah. The national anthem is like such like a bad song that like making it fun rhythmically is hard.
Right.
It's like, I get it. It's the national anthem, and it, you know, people hit the high note.
I kind of disagree. I think it slaps. But
yeah, you want to drop a fat beat under the national anthem? Yeah. Nah, but it's like to be able to make it musically creative, I think is like a feat. So when I hear that, I like really appreciate it. Otherwise, like you just hear like old people that are like, just sing it normal. Just sing it normal. Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah.
But yeah, yesterday the movie made me think of yesterday the song. But that movie looks fun.
It does. It does. Is there anybody else involved with it, like that you know of?
Let's find out.
Because when you brought it up for like me to watch before the podcast, I was like, why am I watching this? And then I watched the trailer and I was like, oh, I really like this.
Yeah.
This is pretty fun.
I mean, I saw the trailer on Twitter. Danny Boyle's the director.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right, I'm in.
Yeah, for sure. That's crazy.
A lot of people kind of scoff.
Slumdog Millionaire, 127 Hours, 28 Days Later.
Yeah. My favorite zombie movie of all time. If you don't believe that 28 Days Later zombies are zombies, then eat my dick.
Get Out?
Yeah, that's an official fucking tcaks approved message.
Nice. tcaks approved. Yeah, so I didn't know that. I hadn't looked that up. That's cool. Danny Boyle. Sweet. There's two more trailers. Did you?
I don't like how you have your hoodie up right now, and I wanted to have a hoodie up because this is my new Santa Monica College.
Shout out Santa Monica College.
Shout out Santa
I have a
Monica
hat on,
College.
so I'll take my hoodie down for you.
It's so hard to
if
get
it really bothers you that much, I'll take one for the team.
Thanks, dog. Appreciate you.
Yeah, dog. Go Shrimp.
All right, moving on to the next trailer.
Yeah.
Let's talk about
Tolkien or Long Shot.
Let's talk about Tolkien. Get it out of the way. It wasn't really much. It's like
there's not much there. It's like a teaser trailer.
Yeah, like,
the thing I find interesting about this movie even existing is that like how interesting was J.R.R. Tolkien? I know he fought in World War I, but other than that, I don't know if there was anything like. Usually when there's a biopic, it's like people who famously struggled through something, you know?
Or something that's cinematic, like writers,
that's
movies
what I was going to
about
bring up.
writers are
That's
very
the cool thing
cinematic.
about the trailer. They seem to be implementing really cool fantasy imagery to tell his story, which I think is an interesting
But you
idea.
kind of have to because like
Yeah, because I don't think he's exciting.
well, like if you're doing a fucking a biopic on Rocky Marciano, it's fucking visually pleasing.
Yeah.
It's fucking like the first 5 minutes of Raging Bull with him just like in fucking slow motion shadow boxing.
Yeah.
You know, like that's fucking it's beautiful. You know.
There's
If you did
there's
the same
there's-
thing with
there's-
someone at a desk.
Yeah, it
fucking-
doesn't have the kinetic energy that you need
No.
to keep things going, to keep things interesting. Like just watching someone at a typewriter isn't
Right.
fun.
Uh-huh.
Although I guarantee you, there's a typewriter montage in that movie
Yeah.
with some swelling orchestral music.
Yeah.
I wonder if they'll like use themes from the Lord of the Rings soundtracks and stuff. That would be interesting.
I
don't know.
Who did that score? Howard Shore.
Yes, I believe
Yeah.
so. Some beautiful fucking music in that shit. Oh my god.
I don't really
Dude.
listen to that one as much.
Well, I like stumbled across some stuff just like on Spotify. Just put on like
yeah. You
generic
listen.
playlists and stuff, and
Yeah.
or shuffle.
That's
stuff.
the only time
oh my
I
god.
don't seek.
It like
out,
creeps up on me, and I'm like, "What is this?" And I go look, and I'm like, "Oh my god!"
I don't seek out like Lord of the Rings playlists. That's the only time that I'll hear the score for Lord of the Rings is when it's in a generic.
But yeah,
film
I was really
playlist.
interested in the idea that movie's even being made, which is just weird to me. But I had to ask resident tcaks Tolkien expert Paul about. I was like, "Is there a reason this movie's being
Paul,
made?"
Mem, and Jackie. You think he's gonna get mad?
In like a month when he listens to this episode because
Right.
he's always so far behind.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out, Paul. No, I was like, was anything in his life interesting besides his time in the war? And he was like, no. He was like, I think he went through some shit in the war, and they'll address that. But outside of that, like his life as a writer and as a human, like wasn't interesting. He was just doing his thing. Like, I hope they go into some of the weird stuff, like not just being like, because I feel like there's like this perception of Lord of the Rings that it's like this epic fantasy story. But like, have you read Lord of the Rings?
No.
I read it for the first time last year. It's boring.
Right.
It's a boring book.
Yeah.
There's like, the third book is dope. The first two books have like super dope parts. And the other parts are like, we're walking. And we're walking. And we're singing a little song. And we're walking while we sing. And we're walking. It's like, okay, can we get to the cool stuff? I liked them.
Right.
I just don't know if I would want to read them. Definitely not the first one. Like, that's the problem. It's like getting through the first half of the first book is like, can we please leave the Shire? Please. Whew.
It's
I
also
like The Hobbit, though.
It's
The
also
Hobbit's a good book.
like something that's so precious. Like
Yeah, exactly.
The fan base for
Well, look, I mean, it inspired
is Lord of the
basically the basis of all modern fantasy. Basically, any sort of fantasy world you see is inspired by.
right. Game of Thrones wouldn't exist without Tolkien.
Yeah, probably not.
I mean,
Game of Thrones is like low magic, but still.
But specifically this trailer, right? Nicholas Holt is
Yeah,
playing.
Nicholas Holt is the lead.
Tolkien.
Lily Evans is in it.
And it's mostly just him narrating, and then
That's what it sounds like. And then there's
fantasy
cool
kind
like shots of like knights on horses and stuff.
right.
There is a really cool thematic shot. There's a shot of Lily Collins like spinning. She's like dancing in a forest.
Right.
After a really beautiful shot of this twisted tree. That tree is really beautiful. It's like two different colors and they're like twisted around each other. That shot is actually like, apparently it's like a moment that inspired Tolkien in his life to write a scene in The Lord of the Rings. There's specifically a scene where there's a character like doing that exact thing. And
Was he on shrooms and he saw fucking trees
we
entwining
can
with each
only
other?
assume. I'm not talking about the trees. I'm talking about the dancing. But
Oh.
we can only assume that anyone who created a world as in depth and inspiring as Tolkien's was constantly on shrooms. We can only assume.
It'd be impressive if he wasn't though.
Maybe not. He seemed like he was a super religious dude. I mean, most of Lord of the Rings and the entire Middle Earth world is all like religious analogs. I don't know. He might not have been. He's not
Was
like
he-
Stephen King, who's on coke for like
was he a
half the books he
Catholic?
wrote. I think so, but maybe not.
Catholicism is a drug in itself.
Don't. Okay. What do you think of the Long Shot trailer? Seth Rogen's newest outing.
Meh.
I like Seth Rogen.
Yeah.
Seems like another Seth Rogen movie. You know what I like though? I like that Charlize Theron is like kind of part of that crew, just a little bit.
Yeah.
Like she's got that vibe. Like she does like weird movies like that, where it's like she's in that kind of stoner movie community.
Right. She did like Young Adult.
Young Adult,
What
yeah.
is it, Sully? Is it not
Something
Sully? Not Sully. Sully is the Tom Hanks pilot movie.
Yep.
Fuck. Tarly. Samuel Tarly.
I don't know, dude. I'm not. Tully. Tully.
Yeah,
Yeah, you were right. Yeah. Yeah, she just likes some weird movies. It's fun. I like that she does a lot of different stuff. It's fun. That's it on that one. Now I did want to bring up, we were talking about Lord of the Rings. One more movie thing I want. Do you know what Dune is?
Yes. I've never seen it.
I'm not talking about the old Dune movie. Do you know what that is from? Dune is a novel.
Yeah.
Dune is a
I've never read it either.
Okay, yeah. Dune is a super famous fantasy, kind of sci-fi fantasy novel. I don't really know anything about it. I've never read it. And there's a movie I think from the 80s that was made.
Yeah.
But the cast list for Denis Villeneuve's upcoming Dune movie
Every time I look.
bonkers. Let me read this to you, dude. Jason Momoa just joined this week. Rebecca Ferguson from the most recent Mission Impossible movies. Timothée Chalamet. Zendaya, rumored. Josh Brolin. Javier Bardem. Oscar Isaac. Dave Bautista. Stellan Skarsgård. It's stupid how many people are in this movie. Like, I don't know anything about Dune outside of the fact that it's like an iconic sci-fi fantasy story. And I want to read the book now, and I'm like super hyped for the movie because one, Denis Villeneuve, and two, that cast. It's like crazy.
Right.
It's crazy.
He's on a fucking run too. You haven't seen Blade Runner 2049?
Yet, no.
I have to see it. So
Yeah, I really want to.
Talk about fucking beauty.
Beautiful.
Beauty.
I can tell from the trailer that's a gorgeous movie.
Yeah, it's gorgeous.
And it's Armas. And again.
The Armas. What was I going to? Okay, yeah. So I find it really interesting that like Timothée Chalamet and Javier Bardem are involved.
Yeah.
Right. Like
why specifically?
Okay, so Dune. This is going to be a fairly big movie, right? Like
the budget, I'm pretty sure, is stupid.
Right. Blade Runner also like was. I mean, these are blockbuster movies, but because it's like Denis Villeneuve, because it's Denis. Because he's doing it, it like they're really well respected amongst the filmmaking community, right? So
he's a filmmaker.
Like Timothée Chalamet hasn't made anything that was like that's very big.
Not on that scale, right? No.
Like, what's the biggest movie that he's made so far?
Keep talking.
I'll
answer your question.
I don't think that he's made one.
I mean,
he's not.
He was in Lady Bird. I mean, Lady Bird was big because it was an Oscar-nominated movie. Call Me by Your Name was big because it was an Oscar-nominated movie. But these aren't big budget things.
No.
Beautiful Boy, small. He was in Interstellar when he was young.
Okay, so
that's probably the answer.
Interstellar.
Yeah.
But again, Christopher Nolan is someone that makes bigger budget movies that's big like that.
And Timothée Chalamet is he's like a darling, like he's beloved as an actor. He's real good.
So yeah, it's fucking really interesting.
That cast is dope. You know what I want is good for Dave Bautista. I really like him. I've heard he's like has a small role in 2049 and that he's really good.
He had his own short as well.
Yeah,
before 2049.
I believe is it best to watch the shorts first and then the movie because they came out first, right? Yeah.
Yeah. So there's 3 shorts that came out.
1 or 2 are animated.
2 of them are animated.
Okay.
Wait, hold on. There might be 4. Fuck. There's at least 2 live action ones.
Okay. Because one of them is Jared Leto, right?
2048 is the one that has Dave Bautista in it.
Because there's one with Jared Leto, right?
And there's one with Jared Leto.
Okay. And they're different.
And there's an animated one called Blackout, I think.
Okay.
I forgot all the numbers though.
Yeah.
But
yeah, I've gotta see it.
But yeah, I watched all of them before I saw 2049. And they're for sure worth a watch.
Yeah.
They're pretty fun.
That's cool. But yeah, that Dune movie. I don't know jack about it, but I'm excited. You see anything this week?
No, dude, I've been so fucking busy.
Yeah,
man.
your school started and everything. I I know I
school
watched
started,
stuff.
unpacking.
Yeah, we finally we're pretty much good. Maybe need some rugs.
I mean, I still got
your
lot
room's
of,
kind of got boxes, but
yeah.
need rugs maybe. But for the most part, we're good.
Mhm.
Ready to go. I watched season 2 of The Dragon Prince. Very good. I actually think I might have liked it more than season 1. I don't like doing that. I don't like being like,
Oh, I like a certain season better than
yeah,
another
especially
season.
when they're so continuous. Like season 1 and 2. Season 1 goes right into season 2. It just keeps going.
Right.
I think the thing I really like about season 2 is that it just dives deeper and deeper into that world,
Mm-hmm.
and that world is like, you can feel that there's just like hours of content you could watch of just stuff we don't know yet, and that really excites me. I think it's really interesting, and they fixed the frame rate.
Oh, really?
They didn't do the frame rate thing in season 2.
That's good.
I think they got enough backlash that they were like, yeah, we can't do this anymore.
That's kind of annoying.
I mean, yeah, it never bothered me.
Mm-hmm.
But if the reason they're doing it is simply cost cutting, then that's lame. Like make the best version of your art. You know what I mean?
Well,
especially because their art is beautiful.
Yeah,
it's gorgeous.
Yeah, and I've only seen like 5 minutes of it.
Yeah, like you walked in and out while I was watching.
But like when I started paying attention to it, I was like, oh, like the things that they're doing with this animation style are really interesting because they're using like 3D models in like a 2D space. Yeah. It's really fucking interesting. Yeah, it looked like a pretty interesting show. Mm-hmm. But it might have like an Avatar Last Airbender kind of feel for me, where like I don't think that I can really dive into.
Dude, I'm telling you, if you got past season 1 of Avatar, you'd get into it.
I don't know, man.
Even I feel like maybe through the first like 6 or 7 episodes, not even all of season 1, you stopped after what is like literally might be the worst episode in the entire series. I think it's the Ba Sing Se episode where the old guy's like all wacky. That's like the last episode I ever saw you watch. I don't think you ever watched it again. But that's like the worst episode in the whole show.
Right. I don't know what it is. Like because there's certain things that like I know are very childish that I can get through. You know, like there's a lot of like childishness.
Avatar that's the thing, dude. Avatar and Legend of Korra doubles down. Like they get really mature.
Right.
I mean, like part of the thing is your lead character in anything is always going to establish some sort of like level of maturity, and Aang is a kid. Mm. So just by the nature of him being his age, the show starts a little young skewing.
But it's still how they sell it is, I mean, it's for kids, right?
Well, yeah, it was a Nickelodeon show. Yeah. Of course they did.
Yeah.
But I think it's weird. It's like all these like any of these animated shows, all those superhero shows and stuff like that, like stuff that isn't for babies eventually ends up to the point where like we have to grow the show with our audience, because Avatar ran for 4 or 5 seasons, right. And when you started watching it when you were 12, well now you're 16,
right?
And the show is beloved to you because you've always watched it, but now you're 16 and you need 16-year-old. You know what I mean?
Right. Okay, speaking of babies, dude. Okay, I was at fucking IKEA the other day. I went to the IKEA in Burbank. That's the closest one, and it's fucking huge. Like, so this is the second IKEA I've ever been to in my life.
Jacksonville one?
No, there was a IKEA in San Diego next to the library.
I've been to the Jacksonville one.
And when I went to that IKEA in San
IKEA
Diego,
is an experience.
Yeah, I mean it's like a theme park for furniture.
It's crazy.
But I was very like I was getting lost, and like, I didn't understand like you got to follow the floor plan, dog. Yeah, it's
wild.
Anyway, so I went to the IKEA in Burbank so that we could get this table and a couple other things like, but I was really hungry because like I came off of a shoot to go to
the meatballs, dog.
Yeah, I went to the restaurant there. Fucking had some Swedish meatballs. Some fucking cranberry sauce that they give you, dude. It was all right. It was
it's part of the experience.
It was kind of like cafeteria food, but like good cafeteria food, if I could say that.
It's like if you go to Disney and eat.
Beautiful fucking like cafeteria too. Like inside that IKEA, that there's like huge fucking like floor to ceiling windows that like look out over like fucking the mountains in Burbank. And shit. It's really really pretty. But the table next to me was a young married couple, and they had their toddler, their little baby, fucking sitting there eating in their high chair, and they had a phone set up in front of him, and they just played fucking Baby Shark on a loop.
With the audio?
Yes.
So everyone could hear it?
Yes. On a loop.
No.
For fucking 15 minutes.
Oh my God.
And I was
someone walked out to that tonight.
Really?
Yeah. The dude with the mohawk that was fighting walked out to Baby Shark.
Why not? But I was like, oh, so this is I'm witnessing this right now. This is actually happening.
It's part of parenting now. I see it all the time at work. When people have kids, they have, they've got the stand for their phone. You know how many times I've walked past kids watching Moana and I've stopped? And I've been like, yo, it's a fucking good-ass movie, dog.
Do you feel like it's healthy?
Do I feel like it's healthy to always stick a phone in front of your child? No, definitely not. I feel like at work, they don't even have the crayons anymore. They just have tablets they can play little games on.
Yeah.
I don't think that's cool, man. Let those kids create.
I'm far from having
kids create, dog.
I'm far from having a kid, but I'm at the age where I have to start evaluating
how you would do it.
Well, yeah, exactly. Yeah. You think about it. You think about when you see a kid. I'm like, would I do that?
Would I murder that kid?
What kind of parent would I be?
Wait, what did that? What?
I'm just gonna let that sit there.
Okay.
But yes, I was sitting there, fucking enjoying my Swedish meatballs, fucking listening to fucking Baby Shark, do 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 do, Baby Shark, do 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 do, Baby.
That would drive me nuts. I feel like for the most part, whenever I see parents doing it, they're at least cordial enough to keep the volume really low, so it's kind of only their area can hear, only their table can hear it or whatever. But yeah, it's always kind of. I think it's not that bad. Like if you have a kid and you're at a restaurant and you're playing a movie for them and to distract them, that's one thing. Mm-hmm. But to play Baby Shark on a loop, that seems nuts.
Were you in the movie theater that one time when there was a parent that was trying to watch the movie and she had her son who's probably 3 or 4, right?
What are you about to tell me?
She pulled out her phone and tried giving it to the kid to try and distract him. You're in a movie theater. Yeah, I was sitting behind them. I was like,
what is happening?
Because he was getting super restless and standing up on the seat. Yeah. And
how old was he? Like
3 or 4.
Yeah,
3
below
or 4.
5.
Yeah,
dude, what movie were you seeing? A kids movie or were you seeing a movie? Was it a movie she should
Backdoor Sluts 9? No, I don't remember what the movie was.
Bringing a sub 5-year-old to a non-animated movie is just a no-go. Unless it's I don't know, one of those movies where a human becomes a dog. You know what I'm talking about?
A human becomes a dog?
That's a genre in and of itself. Or a movie where a really mean dad who owns a business and never sees his kids because he's always working late, and his wife is upset at him and she makes spaghetti and he comes home late and his spaghetti is cold and the kids are already asleep and he's like, oh, I'll swear I'll be at their birthday party this weekend. And then obviously some meeting comes up and he misses the birthday party and then he runs into some kind of gypsy on the way home or something. And he's like, I missed my kid's birthday party. I need a present. And they're like, I've got you. Bam. And then he becomes a cat. And then he has to make the kid love him.
Merging Liar Liar with 9 Lives.
I'm telling you that there are multiples of these movies. I just can't think of all their names. Right? That's the movie with he who shall not be named Kevin Spacey becomes a cat.
Is Kevin Spacey Voldemort of the Hollywood world?
He is now. Wait, not he who shall not be named. He who shall not be casted in anything ever again. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I know that is not the only movie where that happened. I'm pretty sure there's one with, is it Bill Murray? I don't know. I know that there's multiple movies.
Bill Murray plays Garfield.
Dude, do you know? I don't know if this is real. This might be completely false information, but it's a funny story nonetheless. I heard that Bill Murray took that movie because he thought it was the Coen brothers because the people who made it are named Cohen and not Cohen.
Yeah.
And he thought it was fucking the Coen brothers. I hope that's true.
It's a trick.
I hope that's true. It's probably not.
I've heard that too.
I hope
we probably
true.
heard it from the same source, right?
I don't know.
It
if that's true, it's hysterical. He shows up and he's like, "Where's Ethan and Joel?"
Why are they making a
Why
Garfield
are they
movie?
making Garfield? Yo, don't act like you wouldn't watch their Garfield movie though.
Yeah.
Like
be interesting.
inside Llewyn Davis as a cat. Like, come on.
Well, I mean,
And he's just hungry.
Inside Llewyn Davis, there was a cat that did have a
But
story.
not Garfield. He's way too active to be Garfield.
What the fuck was the deal with that storyline?
The cat?
Yeah. Because the cat was named Ulysses,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And the Coen brothers are
They never do anything without a reason.
Well, they have precedent for making a story about Ulysses as well. Like Ulysses was the story of is the Odyssey, right?
Yeah.
And Oh Brother Where Art Thou was
Do not
we thought
do not
it was a
seek
toad.
the treasure.
Do not seek the treasure. But yeah, I mean it was a adaptation of the Odyssey,
Yeah.
right? And George Clooney's character was named Ulysses in that movie.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, and then they have a cat.
Okay, so
Whose name is
Ulysses is the
Ulysses.
Roman name for Odysseus. That was his Greek name. Cool.
Okay.
I didn't know that. When I think of Ulysses, I think of Ulysses S. Grant,
Right.
ex-U.S. president. Cool. But yeah.
But then you have this cat that goes on this like weird. There's like a hinted at background subplot, like almost like fucking.
Like that cat went on an adventure?
Yeah.
That had to have a journey home.
Cat one,
Yo,
yeah.
like if they made a short about that cat, you wouldn't be surprised.
Yo, give me a fucking Coen Brothers Homeward Bound.
All about it. All about it. I watched one more thing. I started watching last night. The Umbrella Academy came out on Netflix. The 15th was like popping off for new stuff.
Yeah.
New stuff came out all over. Season 2 of Dragon Prince came out on Netflix. The Umbrella Academy came out on Netflix. Yeah. The Doom Patrol started on DC Universe, which I will not watch until all of it is out, because what are you doing? Stop doing that. Come on, catch up.
That show seems too good.
What?
I can't be watching that, dude.
The Umbrella Academy?
Yeah, it's going to get me hooked.
Dude, I watched the first 3 or 4 episodes last night. I really liked it. Actually, I have to text my dad and tell him.
It seems pretty interesting. Like, it has like a League of Extraordinary Gentlemen
that's
kind of
what
vibe.
I thought about.
Is that what you
I
thought
kind
of?
of thought about
yeah,
that.
like that's what it made me think of, especially when you see the father and like there's a
it's
a
also
pretty
like kind of
heavy-
like the time period. I think is kind of like that, similar. Maybe not. It's newer. It's like more modern, but it's kind of like they don't really. There was a date in the first episode. I can't remember what it was. Is the problem? I don't know what time period it is. But yeah, it's cool.
It's
Very
also
interesting
like
show.
visually really appealing
Yep.
too.
Yep.
Yep.
Yo, Ellen Page. She seems kind of choosy with her projects.
Right.
Either they're really, she's really passionate about the message. They're very like usually LGBTQ driven stuff that she's really passionate about, or they're just really good projects. It seems like. I trust Ellen Page basically. When I see her in something, I'm like, yeah, it's probably pretty good.
Also, that one dude that's from Misfits is in it.
Yep, and he's basically playing a similar character, kind of.
He was a little bit more.
He's more maybe zany.
Well, I was gonna say he's a little bit more straight edge in Misfits, right? Because like
Yeah.
in Misfits, he like
I haven't seen enough of
So-
Misfits. I've only seen like 3 episodes of
like
it.
in Misfits, it's almost like his character is playing that sort of
For
like,
people who don't know, Misfits is a British show that was about kids who got superpowers, but they were like
not just kids, but
they
like
were
juvenile delinquents.
Yeah, juvenile delinquents. Yeah.
And the first I haven't seen the entirety of that show.
There's a lot
but
of
it's so strange because the first like 4 to 5 episodes of that show are really bad.
Yeah, but shout out Antonio
But
Thomas.
I got to like the
she's dope.
6th episode and it gets so fucking good. It's so strange.
I don't
how
even think I ever got there.
much of a complete 180 it takes. Because like I enjoyed the idea and that
It's a cool idea. It's a cool
kind
idea.
of like it was kind of like it had that How I Met Your Mother effect where like
where they hooked you with the idea.
I didn't like didn't actually enjoy the execution of it. I enjoyed the idea of it,
But
at
you had
first,
to know.
and that idea hooked me to
Watch the
into-
rest.
Yeah, it made me watch the rest until it actually got good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I gotta watch the rest of that fucking Misfits, man.
Yeah, I would like to do that too. I haven't seen. I think I saw maybe 3 or 4 episodes, so I didn't even get to the point you're talking about where it got really good. But yeah, he's in it. What was I gonna say? There's a monkey. His name's Pogo.
He's pretty good looking monkey.
Yeah, he looks good.
I don't mean like attractive.
No, you mean attractive.
Like I don't
You'd
want to
fuck that monkey. Yeah, you would.
But the animation is great.
Yeah. The CG is good. Also, Dickon is in it from Game of Thrones. Dickon.
Is he actually that big? Is he?
No, the last episode I watched.
Is that his superpower? He just is.
Yo,
he's
I'm not
swole?
gonna tell you what's going on under there because I saw it.
What the fuck does that mean?
I saw what's going on under those 3 sweaters he wears. There's a reason he's bulking up like that. You missed the very beginning. You missed the first. You walked out, and I was like 5 minutes in. Mm-hmm. He was living on the moon, dude.
He was living on the moon.
That's like one of the first things you see.
Sam Rockwell.
I haven't seen Moon, dog. Stop.
That's not a spoiler.
But you're just like rubbing it in.
The movie is called Moon.
You're just rubbing it in.
Starring Sam Rockwell.
It'd be funny if you were talking
It's
about
a very
movie.
easy movie to spoil. Trust me, that is not one of the spoilers.
I can never watch it now. It's ruined. It's ruined forever. I thought he just looked at the moon a lot. Or his name was Moon, like a Ladybird situation.
Right.
You blew it. You got any other movie stuff or TV stuff or anything? You want to jump to some sports?
Oh, shit, yeah, we got a lot of sports to talk about.
Yeah.
Might as well.
Do you want to do this in the order they happened or in the most recent thing that we saw?
Order that happened.
Okay, so I've got some football stuff I'm going to bring up that happened early in the week that I don't know if you know about. Did you see that Kyler Murray committed to the NFL, like, legit?
Mm-hmm.
That's exciting.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting. What do you think about like his size and his ability to translate into the NFL?
I think that people who say, okay, so there's this contingent of Dolphin fans because the Dolphins are right now the betting favorite to land him, which I'm excited about.
Okay.
I like him. I like him a lot. I think he's super talented. But there's a contingent of Dolphin fans who, whenever you bring up Kyler Murray, they go, he's just Pat White. And I don't know if you know who Pat White is.
Played at West Virginia.
Yes, he was the West Virginia quarterback. Nice work.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was really athletic dude, ran like a spread offense. And when he got in the NFL, he basically got murdered on the field. I was there in the stadium. I could hear the crack when Ike Taylor hit him in the helmet. And me and Jamie were like, he's dead.
Right.
He was laying on the field. He wasn't moving. His brain probably rattled around inside his skull too much. And we literally thought he died. Pat White got murdered on a football field. But basically, Pat White wasn't good. And that's its own thing. Like, the Dolphins drafted him to be their wildcat quarterback, which why would you ever do that? That's stupid. But that's besides the point. People who say he's like Pat White, get out. I can't talk to you. Go watch some film of him, like doing actual quarterback things. That's the problem. People hear about his size, or they're like, oh, he's this tall, or he weighs this much. Or some people just do this thing where they're like, oh, he runs a lot? Nope. He can't be good if he runs a lot. And it's this weird thing where you're like, you need to keep up. The NFL is constantly changing, just like any other sports league, constantly evolving into the next thing that works.
Right.
And right now, you need quarterbacks that can be mobile. You like the Joe Flacco's of the world, which I'm going to bring him up too. They don't work anymore unless you're really great at it. Unless you're Tom Brady. Like, Tom Brady's not mobile. Tom Brady slides in the pocket.
And he also has a system that helps him out as well. Yeah,
exactly.
Right?
Like, part of being Tom Brady is because he's such a fucking genius, and he's so the most underrated quarterback skill set to have is anticipation. Tom Brady is so anticipatory that he knows exactly where to go, when to go there, and how to do it before anyone can get to him. It's the most frustrating thing about playing them is just you can't touch him because he's so fast at getting the ball out. Peyton Manning was the same way.
Right.
So if you are this towering big quarterback that can't move, or at the very least can't, you can't be mobile in the pocket like Ben Roethlisberger is like that. Ben Roethlisberger isn't fast, but he's great at manipulating the pocket and getting dudes off of him. You need to be able to do something to where you can be effectively mobile. And Kyler Murray is like one of the most explosive runners at the quarterback position that I've seen. Like, there's Lamar Jackson from last year, and other than that, he's up there. He's up on that level of being a scrambler. But he's a way better quarterback than Lamar Jackson was. He's a way better thrower. Are you having trouble over there?
Continue, dude.
But yeah, you were at, like, what is my thought on what Kyler Murray? I would draft Kyler Murray in the top 10.
So is this like you're kind of giving up on Ryan Tannehill?
Well, we're supposed to cut him.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we're apparently cutting him.
Just too many injury problems?
Well, partially that, and a part of having a new coach, and he's not a new. He's the same GM, but he's now been given full power. Before there was a GM and a president of football operations, so it was this weird setup. Now he's just the guy. So they're kind of just like, we need to start over. There's like rumors that the Dolphins are going to tank next year, like straight up, just full on tank. And I was like, you can't really do that in the NFL. That's messed up. Like asking dudes to go out there every week and literally put their livelihood on the line and without the goal of, succeeding. It's messed up. But yeah, I would say Kyler Murray in the top 10. I saw a thing on Twitter where it was like, if you're a Dolphins fan, would you trade Xavier Howard and our 13th pick for the number 1 pick to draft Kyler Murray? And it was a little poll, and I voted no. Because if you're trading up to number 1 in this draft and you don't take Joey Bosa, what are you doing? Or Nick Bosa, what are you doing? That's stupid. Nick Bosa is like far and away the best player in this draft. He's crazy good. But yeah, I would say Kyler Murray in the top 10. I'm like, we pick 13th, and I think we might have to trade up to get him if we want him.
Do you think that he's the best quarterback prospect?
It's debatable. Dwayne Haskins is way bigger, so he's got that going for him. He's like, huge. He's like big and strong with a huge arm. I think he has a stronger arm probably than Kyler. I don't know enough about like who's more accurate and stuff like that, but they're both pretty explosive.
How big is Kyler Murray relative to Russell Wilson?
He's probably an inch shorter-ish, and I mean by now he's probably like 20 pounds lighter because Russell in his time in the league is jacked up. And that's another, like, he's probably the closest thing to point to for Kyler Murray is Russell. And that dude's never missed a game. And he's also one of the most creative quarterbacks in the league. He's so fun to watch. He's boring as hell. That dude, talk about
personality.
Talk about cookie cutter.
Personality.
Ugh.
Yeah.
So, like, sometimes I'm like, Russ, be fun.
Right.
You had to, like, you married Sierra. You have to be fun somehow. You can't be like a stick in the mud all the time. Yeah. Can you show it off a little bit? He's a nice guy, though. Seems like he does a lot of good work in his community and stuff like that. Shout out to those people in the NFL. They don't get enough credit, I feel like. You always hear about like the people that do things wrong. And I feel like the people that do a lot of good fly under the radar. Like my boy Kenny Stills on the Dolphins. That dude's awesome. Love Kenny Stills. Anyway, I'm excited about Kyler Murray not playing baseball because baseball's boring. Sorry, baseball. I said Joe Flacco. Joe Flacco, there's an agreement to trade Joe Flacco. I am making a commitment to talking about football news, even though you don't pay attention to football, because I do. Joe Flacco there's an agreement to trade Joe Flacco to the Broncos for like a 4th round pick. And I heard that, and I was like, Dolphins, why are you cutting Tannehill? You could trade him. If they can trade Flacco, you can trade Tannehill because he's way younger, and if he's not better, he's the exact same average level of averageness. You know what I mean? But yeah, I don't think it's going to be like the Broncos already have Case Keenum, who they signed last year as a free agent, and he's already just a super average quarterback, and he's just like 4 years younger than Joe Flacco and a little bit more mobile and more, he's more exciting, I think. I don't think it's going to help them. I think John Elway's in trouble. John Elway is the GM on the Broncos, and he went out and got Peyton Manning, but like, who wouldn't want to go out and get Peyton Manning? You know what I mean? Even if he was coming off that neck surgery and it's like, is Peyton going to be healthy? You still, like, you take a swing at it. You know what I mean? Because especially back then, they had a Super Bowl roster and they ended up winning a Super Bowl. But since then, he drafted Brock Osweiler, Paxton Lynch, had a 7th round pick that he had starting games, Trevor Siemian, and now Case Keenum. And I would say he's missed 3.5 times. Because Case Keenum isn't a bad quarterback. Like, it's not like he doesn't deserve to be in the league. Like, he's at the very least a really high quality backup. But like, Joe Flacco isn't going to be, I don't think, really much of an improvement over that. Because he hasn't been really good since they went to the Super Bowl like 5 years ago or something.
Has he won a Super Bowl?
Yes, he has a Super Bowl ring. That's how he got paid.
Right.
In his contract year, he won a Super Bowl.
Oh.
And he went on a playoff tear where he balled out in the playoffs, and he was like, pay me. So he got that elite quarterback money, which he probably shouldn't have gotten, and probably messed up the Ravens for the next 5 years. Because it's hard, there's this thing with cap studying where it's like the best way to build a team is when your quarterback is on their rookie contract. You have like a 5-year window when your rookie's on their rookie deal. If you can make a really, like the Rams are doing that right now. They just trading for everything and signing for expensive free agents because they're like, we don't have to pay $100 million to anybody, which is what, elite quarterbacks get unless they're Tom Brady, but he takes less money. You know why he takes less money? Because Giselle makes more money than him. He's not worried about it. Must be nice.
Can you tell how bored I am?
You're mean.
I'm sorry.
You're mean.
I'm sorry. I wish I could be more interested in football.
It's like, why is it any different than a trade in the NBA, dog?
I'm just more interested.
Okay, you might find the last football thing more interesting. Did you hear about the Colin Kaepernick thing?
Not really.
Colin Kaepernick and Eric Reed, who was his first ever teammate to kneel alongside him,
right,
were suing the NFL in a collusion case. They're saying the NFL was colluding with each other to not let them play.
Right.
Last season, Eric Reed got signed to the Panthers. But that doesn't mean that there wasn't collusion before that, so he was still part of the case. This week, there was a settlement to put the case away. Which, I'm not a lawyer, and I don't know jack about stuff, but I do know that Harvey from Suits always says, you got to close before you go to court. He's a closer. That's what he does. Mm-hmm. And apparently, from reports that I've seen from people, like that means they think Colin Kaepernick got paid $60 to $80 million to drop this case.
Wow.
Because the NFL is afraid of discovery in the legal sense.
Right.
They're afraid of text messages, emails, things like that. They're like, we can't let that get out, so we're going to pay the man. Yeah. Big money.
That's scary.
Big money, dude. And then there's some weird stuff about it, like the timing of some things. So right before the settlement came, there was a report leaked that Colin Kaepernick asked for $20 million to play in the new football league, the AAF. And they have like this, the way that their league works is every player makes the same amount of money. There's no contract negotiations or anything. It's just
like the basketball of the football.
Yeah, yeah, kind of. But it's like, no, y'all are too shitty to be on an NFL team. We're not going to let you you're here to try to make it back into the league. We're going to pay you what we want.
Is that how the G League is run?
I think G League players make a base salary. Right. Yeah,
at least until they start implementing the rookie.
Well, the rookie scale. That's the new thing that's coming. Yeah, for like elite talent. However, they're gonna gauge that. I don't know, but even then, they're not gonna make full NBA contract scale stuff. They're just making more than normal G League. But yeah, this report came out that Colin Kaepernick asked for $20 million if he was going to play. It was like to even think about joining the AAF, he would want $20 million. And people were like, yeah, this reeks of the NFL trying to make him look money hungry before the settlement. Because then like some people look at it, they're like, oh, Colin Kaepernick sort of like slandered his own message by taking money. He took a payout to shut up. Like all these like weird things. And I'm like, I don't think that's true. That seems like not real.
Right.
Like he basically hasn't been working for 3 years or whatever. And he's been donating like $100,000 a month to charitable organizations that, go towards the cause that he was kneeling for in the first place, which people seem to forget was about police brutality and racial injustice in America. They think, for some reason, people still think he was saying something about the national anthem. No, he was just using his platform. But, I just like, get that money, dog.
So he has already committed to taking the settlement?
Yeah, they agreed to it this week. Him and Eric Reed, which is crazy because Eric Reed is in the NFL too.
And it's theorized that
the reports, of like people being like, oh, I talked to lawyers and they think for something basically like money he could have been making as a starter in the NFL, plus like basically his perception monetarily values to huge money,
right?
Which is nuts. And some people think that there was probably an agreement that he will stop trying to play, which has since come out that he still wants to, but it's one of those things where there was a non-disclosure agreement and, we'll probably never, if we don't hear about it, like we won't hear about it anytime soon. Maybe, down the line there's some kind of documentary made or something. It could be a dope 30 for 30 in like 15 years or something like that. I don't know. But it's interesting.
Okay, when 30 for 30 started coming out, right? It was supposed to be 30 films over documenting like the past 30 years or something, right?
Is that what it was?
I'm pretty sure that's where 30 for 30 came from.
But then
like
they were
name 30
then
for 30.
they were so good that they were like,
we're just gonna keep making documentaries.
Yeah. Do you have a favorite 30 for 30 you've seen?
Honestly, it's one of those things where like I've heard more of the 30 for about the 30 for 30s.
I love the Fab Five one.
I think that I've probably only seen 2 or 3.
Yeah.
I haven't seen a lot of them.
I haven't seen a ton of them.
I think I've seen the Bo Jackson one. That one was good. You don't know Bo.
Mm-hmm. What if I told you?
The Reggie Williams.
Ricky Williams has
Ricky
one.
Williams.
Yep.
Yeah, Ricky Williams had one,
Yep.
right? I think I saw that one. That
I'm
one was
Ricky. My name's Ricky Williams.
Pretty interesting.
He's got
Like
such a high
he got
pitched
into
voice.
like yoga.
Yeah,
and,
he's an
like,
interesting dude.
Yeah.
He's interesting. Yeah, he went to Canada and he got
He's like the Kyrie of the football.
kind of, yeah. Yeah. But yeah, I love the Fab Five one. Love it. Makes me think of Glory Road. Open phone so I can look at my notes. Dell Demps got fired in the NBA.
Oh yeah, this is a saucy
Now stuff
one.
you're interested
This is
in.
a fucking saucy one.
Okay, so
dude.
Dell Demps was the GM of the New Orleans Pelicans. And obviously they've been going through all the turmoil with the trade deadline and Anthony Davis demanding a trade and all this stuff. I feel bad for him. It doesn't, because like if you break it down, he made the smart move, right? He didn't trade Anthony Davis when he didn't have to.
Which isn't making the move, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
He waited because in the offseason, Boston will have a chance to make an offer.
Do you feel like he was? Do you think that he was proactively trying to fuck over the Lakers?
I don't know if
you're gonna give me another offer, give me another offer, give me another offer.
Yeah, I don't know if I believe that sort of spiteful thing.
Yeah.
I don't know. It seems like there's too much at risk to act that way. You know what I mean?
Maybe.
I don't know. But I'll say this.
It just seems like overly petty.
I feel bad for Dell Demps for being fired after all of this fiasco, but I do think he deserved to be fired. Not for the Anthony Davis situation,
but
because he had Anthony Davis for 5 or 6 years and he never built a good team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because which is also like, it's like fucking easier said than done, to build a good team.
But
it's also
your
your
job. That's your job.
It's also your job.
Like Michael Jordan should fire himself.
Mm-hmm.
He won't, but he should.
Yeah, a dude that's gonna brazenly fucking rock a Hitler mustache will never fucking fire himself.
Dude, Michael Jordan fascinates me. He seems so. There's that like 9-hour documentary coming out about him next year, or about those Bulls teams or whatever.
Yeah.
I'm gonna watch the hell out of that.
Yeah.
Oh, the level of competitor. He's a psychopath. He's completely nuts.
Have you ever heard of Reggie Miller's story about I forgot, he was playing a game in his rookie year, and I'm almost positive it was Reggie Miller that was telling the story, but he was saying that it was his rookie year or something, and I think that he played, it was like an all-star game or something.
Okay.
And I think Michael had been in for a couple years at this point, and Reggie Miller was like kind of going off in the all-star game. He was a young guy, and he fucking...
Did he say something to MJ?
He went off, right? And he told MJ, like, you can't guard me.
Oh, no. You
Right.
can't. Don't say that.
And Michael...
Oh, no.
Michael went to whoever was coaching the game at the time.
And he was like, yo, let me
and
get.
he was like,
let
no,
me get.
he said, don't take me out. He said, don't take me out. And apparently he dropped like 45 in the game.
What do you say to that? Like, if you're the coach? No, you can't say anything.
All right, Mike.
Sure.
Do your thing, man. Do your thing.
Like, even if it was Phil Jackson, like, what's Phil Jackson going to do?
I think it was the coach before Phil Jackson. It might not have been an all-star game. I think
Oh,
it
it
might have
was
been
a
an
regular
actual
game? That's even
game
cooler.
or something. But fucking Michael dropped like 45 or some shit.
Yeah, he went crazy.
And then went to Reggie Miller after the game. And he was like, don't talk to me ever again. Don't talk to me.
Don't talk to me, dog. That's hysterical. Dude, yeah, MJ was nuts. There's so many, like, just if you listen to enough, like, just like random ESPN employees and like just people that work in the business, but they've been around since, the 90s or whatever, 80s, 90s, and they were around when Michael Jordan was around. You hear so many crazy stories about how nuts he was, like how just insanely competitive and how much.
And he's still like that.
Yeah.
Is what's
Don't
weird.
go golfing with Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
It's so crazy.
Well, like but like now that he's, like it was his 50s now?
Yeah, he must be.
He's got to be in his 50s because he was in his 40s when he was playing with the Wizards, right?
Yeah. He played with the Wizards.
Yeah. But there was this quote that came out last week or whatever when they were comparing James Harden to Russell Westbrook, right?
Yeah, and
right. And
they said,
asked
"What's
Michael,
harder, James Harden's 30-point scoring streak or Russell Westbrook's triple-double streak?"
And then he said,
"It was tongue in cheek. I don't know if you saw the whole
Yeah.
thing. He did it very tongue in cheek, but he basically was like, what they're doing is both very really impressive. But if we're gonna really ask what's more difficult, it's 6 championships.
right?
Like, come on, can't you give them some? Just pick one. Like, I don't know.
It's tongue in cheek, but it's also like
He's completely conceited,
Yeah.
but like, you get it at the same time. You're like, I get why he's like that. He's a real good at what he does. What do you think of All-Star Weekend? Just wrapped up.
I don't know.
just
Like
finished watching it?
I was fucking.
You were
building
doing a lot
this-
of stuff.
I was doing a lot of stuff, building this table. I built it with my bare hands and an IKEA instruction book. But I was kind of disappointed by the dunk contest. I wanted a little bit more.
See, here's the thing, though. I've learned to not get my hopes up for the dunk contest,
Uh-huh.
so that when it is really good, it's like extra exciting. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
3-point shootout was fun, though.
True.
Dude.
They went off.
When Steph started in the last round and he hit 10 in a row to start, I thought it was over. I was like, he's going to hit every one of them.
Yeah.
And then he gassed out. Shout out to Joe Harris. Yo, like, you probably could make big money if you bet on him to win that thing.
For Joe Harris.
Yeah, dude.
Oh, yeah.
You probably make
Slept
huge
on.
money. Yeah. He's a great shooter, though.
Yeah.
He's shooting like 48%, I think they said, this season. That's crazy.
The fucking the Nets. Credit to the
Yeah.
Brooklyn Nets for developing their players the right way.
Especially since they got so just roasted by Danny Ainge. Like,
Yeah.
Danny Ainge set the Brooklyn Nets back like 5 years.
Right.
Single-handedly.
Mhm.
He just destroyed them.
Yeah, but now they're a legitimate playoff team in the East.
Yeah. And they're fun to watch. Like, they have a lot of fun players, fun personality. I love Spencer Dinwiddie, young Lando. Love him. D'Angelo Russell is super fun to watch.
Karis
Karis LeVert's awesome.
crazy fun to watch.
Jarrett Allen is fun. That dude
Yeah.
loves blocking superstars. He
Yeah.
loves it. And he has a great afro. Great. Yeah, they're a fun squad. See what happens. I mean, like, if I don't want them to make the playoffs if it results in the Heat not. So, the race is on.
Who do
I
they
guess.
have starting at their 4? I'm running through like potential like Aaron Gordon
It's
trades.
not Rondé Hollis-Jefferson. I think he comes off the bench.
I'm like running through like Aaron Gordon trades in my head, and I'm like Aaron Gordon in Brooklyn
He'd be fit really well there.
would
Yeah,
be pretty fun.
They're Portland.
If we got like Spencer Dinwiddie and something else like for Aaron Gordon, that would be interesting.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. Come on, you guys are all in. Kem Birch said so. Kem Birch tweeted about the playoff run.
Yo, dude, I know people shit on Kem Birch. He's a really good fucking backup. He's been playing really well.
Hey,
Yeah,
do it
he's
big,
fucking
Kem Birch.
solid rim protector. Fucking great rim runner. Like the dude can bounce for a big guy.
Yeah. Kem Birch. Playoff race, baby.
5 straight.
It's like weirdly competitive. Like, it's weird. The like 6 through 9 or 10 in the East is like, y'all are too shitty, but it's fun. Like, it's a competitive race.
You know what I've been looking at like over the past few days, like while the Orlando Magic have been on this run, because we've won 5 straight. The only team that has a longer win streak right now is the Raptors. They've won
Because the
6.
Warriors lost their last game.
Yeah, the Raptors have won 6, and we've won our last 5, and I think 7 of our last 8 or some shit. Right?
Yeah.
But fucking, I've been looking at the Utah Jazz from last year.
Okay.
right? And what their record was last
They went on that crazy run to end the
because
season.
well, their record was worse than ours.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, like around this.
Didn't
time.
they end up like the 4 seed?
So,
Didn't they end up like the 4 seed in the West or something like that?
Yeah, something like
in the
that,
middle,
yeah.
Because they went on a nuts run to end the season.
Mm-hmm.
They went on like a 2 years ago Heat 30-11 run.
So before like their first run, before the All-Star break was 11 games.
Okay.
I think, and before that run, their record was worse than ours. Like if you compare the two seasons, like
wow.
And it's like it's easy to shit on the Magic.
Yeah.
But it's like it gives me hope.
Yeah.
It gives me.
I
hope
always
to
feel
be
that
like,
way, like with the Heat, because like the people will shit talk the culture thing, the Heat culture being a thing, but it's real. Like they try to win. They never stop trying. You know what I mean? Like we'll be down 27 in a game, and Justice Winslow is still dog guarding people. Like it's just the mentality of the organization.
We talk about the Heat and the Magic too much. Let's stop being homers and talk about a team.
We're allowed to talk about our favorite team stuff.
Yeah, true. Let's talk about like a team that fucking like nobody's talking about. That a lot of people don't talk about, at least the Pacers. Let's talk about the Pacers.
Dude, they won like 6 in a row.
Do you
after Oladipo got hurt, they lost like 4, and they kicked off a 6-game win streak. You know how they started it? They beat the Heat.
Right. Makes sense.
Yep.
If I said like over under, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like what do you think their seed would be if I said
Oladipo would get
fifth?
hurt?
Well, okay, no. Right now, you're evaluating this team. I'm going to say 5th seed. Do you think that they'll be higher or lower than
what
that
are they
seed?
right now, like 3 or 4?
Yeah, I think that they're still
like 25
I think they're
games
still
left?
3. They're still the 3rd seed.
Can I push? Because I think they're going to be the 5th seed.
You think they're going to be the 5th
Yeah, the
seed?
Celtics will pass them.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So I would say
Like
that
they're on this run of 6-0, but without Oladipo, they can't keep that up.
I agree with you. I think that
And I don't think that like the Nets or the Heat or the Magic or the Pistons are going to catch them.
Right.
I think they're too far ahead to catch.
I think that there's a couple things that I'll say. There's a couple things that I'll say about the Pacers, right? I think that a lot of people are going to underestimate the talent that they have. And
Miles Turner is really good.
The coaching and the team that they have surrounding.
Sabonis is really good.
Like they're still a good team.
Thad Young's a
without
good
Depot.
player.
And there's no way that they're missing the playoffs for sure.
Yeah,
there's no way.
they built up enough of a cushion.
Okay, if they went 500 for the rest of the season, they would still have 50 wins.
Wow.
It's pretty impressive,
Yeah,
right?
that's really- yeah.
I mean, they're just
Yo,
they've played
shout out,
so well.
Shout out Nate McMillan, their
Yeah.
coach.
Yeah.
That dude, like, people wanted him fired like 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Dude's killing it.
But a couple of things against them. Obviously, they lost their best player.
Yeah.
Now, is them losing their best player the same thing as like, say, if like the Bucks lost Giannis? I don't think it would be as detrimental.
I don't know, man. Giannis makes that train run.
That's what I'm saying. I think that if the Bucks lost Giannis,
It'd be worse.
It would be worse for them.
Well, I think there's
than
more.
The Pacers losing
I think
Depot.
the system is less based around Victor Oladipo, and it's more enhances Victor Oladipo. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Yeah.
I would agree with that. But he is their best player.
Mm-hmm, for sure.
He's their best player, and they also have the
Big fan.
5th strongest strength of schedule.
Meaning they have a really hard schedule.
They have a really hard schedule
remaining
going forward.
Okay.
They have, I think the 5th strongest.
Ooh.
Which is it's tough.
Yeah.
It's tough. And it's just all of those elements lead me to think that they're going to slide.
I don't think they'll slide enough to fall to 6th, though.
You don't think they'll go to 6th?
I think that who's the closest? The Nets after the Celtics.
Yes.
I don't think that they'll win enough to catch up.
I think it depends. I think it's completely possible.
Like I can't see the Nets winning 50 games.
But I could see the Pacers going, under 500 for the rest of the season.
Yeah, sure. That's true. 25 games-ish. It's a little different for every team, but it's about 25 games, I think.
Right.
We'll see. I'm hoping for a strong push.
What's another team we could talk about that we don't really talk about? You want to talk about the Cavs?
Well, no, fuck that. No, they're trash. They're complete trash. But the champion, the East still runs through Cleveland. According
what
to
are they
Tristan
doing
Thompson.
with Kevin Love? Are they planning?
He just
on
came back.
But are they planning on just like holding him and being a veteran presence. Like
I don't know why they
re-signed
re-signed him. I don't know why they re-signed him.
But
they have to trade him. Like, the poor dude.
Even if you resign him, like, they could still trade him, you know? And
I think they'll eventually trade him. The problem is he makes a ton of money.
Right.
So especially if he can't stay healthy, no one's going to trade for him.
Mm-hmm.
But like imagine like him on the Pacers, him on the Blazers, him like there's teams where if they had Kevin Love, it would give them it would take them up another level. Him on the Nets.
If you're a part of the Pacers, right? Like, do you give up either Sabonis or Turner in order to get Kevin Love?
I don't even know if you do it to get Kevin Love. You hear a lot of talk about just getting rid of one of them because you can't play them together enough.
Exactly.
They don't fit well enough together, but they're both too good to not play that many minutes where they can't play
I feel
together.
like if you're going to give up either of them in order to get Kevin Love, I know this is completely theoretical, speculatory, but the fucking I would say Sabonis.
Yeah,
I feel like Miles Turner with Kevin Love would be it.
I think specifically in this scenario, if Kevin Love is your target,
right,
you need Miles Turner more to make up for his lack of defense. Mm-hmm. And Miles Turner is a really good defender. He's like he's always had like that sort of potential, and he's reaching it.
Well, yeah. Like, and he's a lot of people are thinking he's a Defensive Player of the Year candidate right now.
Not
candidate.
Yeah. Well, you said, can we talk about another team? And I feel like you're trying to like push for teams who like maybe aren't that high in standings and stuff. But like, so for that answer, I'd be like the Kings because they're fun. But what do you think about Paul George for MVP?
I like it. Why not?
Dude, he's up there for Defensive Player of the Year candidacy, along with Kevin Durant numbers for when the last year Kevin Durant was in Oklahoma City and he won MVP. It's crazy. I still am on Team Giannis for MVP. Okay. I would still pick Giannis. What about
James Harden?
I don't want to talk about James Harden.
Do you not think that
I think James Harden is extremely impressive.
Mm-hmm.
He is. I don't know. It feels kind of hollow to me.
Right.
I don't know. I'm probably a hater. I don't mean to be, but I probably am. I like him, and I like watching him when he isn't being annoying.
Now, there was...
but, like, even in the All-Star game tonight, it was like he was just taking step-back threes, and he was like, I don't know. I haven't looked, but off the top of my head, maybe he was like 2 for 9.
Yeah, he didn't shoot very well.
Yeah.
All right, so we'll stay away from James Harden. We talked about him way too much.
Mm-hmm.
So you have once said before, I'm not sure if it was on this podcast or just in a conversation with me. You said I don't believe that Paul George can be the best person on a championship team. Do you still believe that?
So here's the thing. They're not going to sure, because I don't think they're going to win the championship this year. But he might win MVP. I think that's different. But I think the reason it works is because even if he is maybe the best player, Russ is the engine. Okay. Russ makes that team go.
Right.
Russ gets him going.
Mm-hmm.
Russ, like, Paul George is coming off all these. Dude, it's stupid how good he's shooting.
Mm-hmm.
It's insane. Like, I watched a Thunder game like last week or 2 weeks ago or something, and just like the level of the amount of contested pull-up shots he's hit, like coming around screens and hitting pull-up jumpers over defenders in his face, and he's just drilling everything. It's just you can't stop him. He's in such a zone. But I don't know if it works as well if Russ isn't there to get all the looks. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Even though Russ is having a down year in terms of efficiency, Russ is like a notoriously inefficient player, and he's even worse in terms of efficiency. Like, he's shooting like trashola from 3, like 20s, mid-20s. And it's still like his presence and his energy and his just, he never stops coming after you. And I think that is a big part of what makes Paul George go.
Well, and even if he's playing inefficiently, like his effort and his play style still meshes really well with Paul George, and as well as Paul George's
I'll say
style
though, I did not expect Paul George to play as well as he. I always knew he was a great defender. And a really, really good player. I thought, he's like an all-star, but he's playing at an MVP potential level. It's nuts. Mm-hmm. Excuse me. But yeah, you wanted to bring up like I think the Kings are a lot of fun.
Yeah.
They're fun to watch, man. They go fast. De'Aaron Fox is like a lightning bolt. Buddy Hield is clutch as hell. What I watched, they played the Nets the other night, and I watched the fourth quarter of that game, and they were down, I think, like 12 or something, and Buddy was like 2 for 11 from 3, and then he just ripped off like 3 in a row and got hot in the fourth quarter. It was just like, it was a fun game. Fun game to watch. They got Bogey, the other Bogey.
Mm-hmm. They just need a solid 3.
Well, they just traded for Harrison Barnes.
Oh, that's right.
But
I
like,
about that.
how good is Harrison Barnes? Also, he should spend more time at the 4 than the 3.
Harrison Barnes?
Yeah. For sure.
Who'd they give up for Harrison Barnes? They
Not much. It wasn't like any of their core. I think it was maybe a draft pick.
They sent Zach Randolph?
They probably did so he could get a buyout.
Right.
There was definitely a player involved. I just don't remember who it was. And draft compensation. Yeah. Yeah, I don't. He's a free agent, I think, after this season. If I were the Kings, I don't know if I would pay him. I think he'll actually make less money on his next deal than he did on his last deal, because his last deal came in the year that the cap expanded, so he got super big money. And he's just not. He's not that level of player that should get that much money. But yeah, and I think you have to save some for De'Aaron Fox and Buddy Hield down the line. I don't know, but you're right. They need a really good 3. Yo, Kevin Durant, go to Sacramento. Kawhi,
so whack.
Kawhi, forget LA, go to Sacramento. That'd be crazy. You got other teams?
I'm like,
Anybody else that you want to
going
like
through the Rolodex in my head.
give some credit to? How good do you think the Celtics are? Where do you see them making it to in the playoffs?
So my thing with the Celtics, right, is I think that no matter what is happening with the regular season, if they get to the playoffs and they have Brad Stevens and they have the weapons that they have, right, they can contend with anybody.
Okay. Can I devil's advocate? I'm not saying
please.
This is my thought, but what do you say to the fact that Brad Stevens hasn't really won anything? Is Brad Stevens overrated?
I would say that Brad Stevens isn't overrated because he's gone really far with teams that shouldn't have gone as far as they should have.
Specifically.
Last year specifically,
All those
he
injuries
did it
they
in
had.
college with Butler.
Mm-hmm.
I think that when you have someone who's done that on a consistent basis in both college and pro, right? I think that there's something there, and I don't think
I rephrase it?
I think that people jumped onto the Brad Stevens
Too
is the
quickly?
GOAT too quickly. you
Yeah,
know?
the GOAT thing is nonsense. Pop exists. Get out of here.
Yeah.
What if I rephrase
GOAT
it?
is too strong, but even like putting him on like the founding fathers of
of coaching.
Yeah.
What if I rephrase it to, like, how long can Brad Stevens go without winning the East? I'm not even saying winning the championship. Just winning the East before he starts kind of getting questioned in a Dwayne Casey kind of way. Because Dwayne Casey was, these crazy good regular seasons, and they just could never get past LeBron, and it was like, we have to get somebody else.
Yeah.
How long can Brad Stevens go without being the Eastern champion, especially with LeBron gone now, until he starts getting that sort of treatment?
I'm not sure, man. Not sure.
I don't know.
You have to look at the greatest of the league, right?
Mm-hmm.
So like Pop is
But that's like
Gonna
Bill
go down as
Belichick, Nick Saban level greatness. It's nonsense.
true. But I'm trying to see if is how much of Brad Stevens not succeeding, and say if he doesn't go to the finals, if he doesn't win a championship, right? How much of it is does he not have the tools?
If you're going to argue he doesn't have the
Available?
tools now, it seems skeptical.
Right.
Right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You have a megastar in Kyrie Irving. You have a great player that I think is underrated in Al Horford. You've got a guy who people think is a future All-NBA player in Jason Tatum. You've got really strong role players all over the place.
I would agree with you, but out of all of the contending teams in both the East and the West,
I think they're the lowest in the East of the four.
Well, not just this. Not evaluating them as a team. I'm saying evaluating the best player on each team of the contending teams.
Okay.
Who has the worst best player?
Maybe Kyrie.
It's probably the Celtics.
Toronto has Kawhi.
Yeah.
The Bucks have Giannis. The Sixers.
Joel.
What's Joel won? You know,
I mean,
it's like he's young, but like at the same time, they crumbled against the Celtics last year.
Mm-hmm.
Crumbled.
Mm-hmm.
Ben Simmons was horrible against them.
Mm-hmm.
And Al Horford owns Joel Embiid. They just played, like 3 nights ago, and again, whatever it is, the Celtics own them. Mm-hmm. I'm not saying that I don't think the Sixers can beat. I think the Sixers could beat the Celtics in a series for sure, especially with their new lineup. Right. But for whatever reason, the Celtics have their number.
Yeah.
So I think Joel and Kyrie is debatable into who's better. I think Kyrie's. I don't know, man. Joel's defense brings him up another level, but I think the position kind of hurt. I think the fact that Kyrie plays point guard over Joel being a center. If Joel shot threes the way he thinks he does, he'd be better.
What do you mean, attempts-wise or like efficiency-wise?
No, Joel shoots like he's a 38% three-point shooter, and he's not. He's a 30% three-point shooter. He needs to cut. If he cut like 2 or 3 of those those clunky threes out a game, and did more of his full body pump fakes that he does, or just goes to the block more. Because he's a wizard down there. He's nuts.
Okay. What do you think about the... I forgot who posited this. I'm pretty sure it was on the Low Post.
Mm-hmm.
But it wasn't Zach Lowe. I want to say it was like Max Kellerman, which, give or take, what like a lot of things
it's hit or miss.
But
when talk about boxing.
Well, obviously, he's but he brought up something about like, when you have a team, a lot of the teams that succeed really well in the regular season are the ones that have like really strong guard play, right?
Yep.
Like the smaller guys that can score a lot, right?
Are you going to then try to say that the big men matter more in the playoffs?
Okay, no.
Or is that what he said?
Not just big men, right? But like the two-way kinds of horses that you can like ride to the finals, right?
So it's almost the opposite of the NCAA tournament.
Yeah.
Because the NCAA tournament, if you have the Kemba Walker effect, if you have a guard that's hot, you can win the whole thing.
But NCAA tournament is also really different too.
Single elimination, baby. It's one of the most hype sporting events.
Obviously, single elimination is
also
whole different
great
fucking
players.
Even beyond wrinkle, it's a fucking tidal wave of difference.
Yeah.
But the really good guard play is also like exemplified by really good coaching and teams that have been there for a while.
And I think that great players matter even more in college basketball than in the pros.
Yeah. That's why like a lot of fans of college basketball are kind of like, okay, kind of chill out with this Duke team, like they're not going to be the greatest basketball team that's ever been built, because like these are still fucking...
They're still 18-year-old kids, 18, 19-year-old
that
kids.
are playing together for their first time. And then there's teams like the Virginias of the world
that have been together for 4 years.
Yeah.
Or like UNC, like Nasir Little can't even crack the starting lineup because they got a 4th-year senior starting.
Yeah.
Whether or not he deserves it is another story, but...
True.
Oh, that was weird. You were talking about
we were talking about the Celtics, right? Their best player is Kyrie Irving, who is not a two-way player.
No,
right?
But he's so good one way that like it doesn't really hurt.
Mm-hmm. I'm not sure if Kyrie is someone that can put the team on his back and take, like.
I think people would argue that he's already done it. But he had LeBron with him is the problem. But, like, here's the thing. LeBron haters will tell you that Kyrie won them that ring, right? They'll be like, Kyrie hit the game-winning shot.
It's a combination of both,
I agree. And I also am not – I'm the opposite of a LeBron hater. Yeah. But I think that maybe Kyrie can't do that two-way horse carry thing, but he will be clutch. Mm-hmm. Kyrie's got the clutch gene in spades.
I agree.
The last, whatever, however you want to define it, last 3 minutes – within 5 points or last 5 minutes within 5 points, whatever that is, that takeover time, Kyrie will do that.
Mm. I feel like there's something to that.
Like, will Kawhi do that?
Do what?
That takeover thing? Can Kawhi do what LeBron James does? Kawhi's an incredible player and an incredible two-way player.
Yeah.
But does he have that like killer thing?
I'm not sure about that. And I don't even think that's like the question that I'm positing. But like I think that the two-wayness, you know, like having your best player be, you know, the best two-way player on the court.
Okay.
Makes sense. Or even, you know, top two, whatever.
Yeah. I mean, so Paul George can be that.
Yeah.
Because he's an incredible defender. Yeah. He's just ferocious. Giannis can do that. And I feel like you can see it on his face that Giannis is a killer. What in the world is happening? No idea. Yeah, I don't know. It's almost like, can Kyrie do enough offensively to make up for it? Because then they, you know, strategically they hide him defensively and stuff. They do their best to cover it up. Mm-hmm. But then, yeah, like I wonder, like, can Kawhi do it enough on the offensive end at that time? Because when they beat the Heat in the finals, Kawhi went nuts. Mm-hmm. But was he able to do that because he had guys like Tony Parker and Manu Ginobili and Tim Duncan? I don't know. It's weird. Like, was Kawhi the best player on that Spurs team? He might have been. Tim Duncan, like, I mean,
he won the final. He won the
Finals MVP. Yeah, right. But like, was he the best player all season? Like, you know what I mean? Or was Tim Duncan still that guy? I don't know. I think it might have been Kawhi. Tim Duncan was old.
But regardless of me saying that and like questioning,
I mean, I think a pushback to it as well though is Steph Curry pre Kevin Durant. He's not a two-way player,
right?
I mean, Steph puts in effort defensively and stuff, but he's not, you know, he's limited by his physical, you know, his size and his speed and stuff.
But they also have like
they have Draymond Green.
They have Draymond Green and Klay Thompson, who are incredible two-way
and back
players.
then they had Andrew Bogut.
And those three players, like in as well as the other players that they had, Harrison Barnes at the time.
Yeah,
right.
Harrison Barnes is a good defender.
That roster was so perfectly constructed. Yeah. Like I think that.
Yeah, that's true. Made up for it a little bit.
Yeah.
Which then you could argue is that sort of the Celtics thing now. Has Danny Ainge constructed a roster balanced enough to hide Kyrie Irving defensively?
Who won the Finals MVP when they won it that first year? Because Steph still hasn't
Andre
won.
Iguodala.
Oh, that's right.
Iggy Pop.
That's right.
Yep. Yeah, dude, the finals are like a never-ending race for the universe to stop Steph Curry from winning Finals MVP.
But I would say like a good example of it is the Trailblazers, right? Like
because Damian Lillard's their best player, and
and CJ McCollum.
But Damian Lillard's the best player.
I agree
for sure. But both of them are kind of defensively declined, or that's not the right
stunted,
word. Deficient. Yeah. And like, is Nurkic good enough to make up for it? Like, what if they had Rudy Gobert? What if they had Hassan Whiteside? I don't like. People are going to shit talk Hassan Whiteside, but he's played really well this year. Mm-hmm. I think he's averaging like 13 and 12 or something. But just defensively, he's still a force. He's still, he's a great rim protector. Mm-hmm. Yeah, does he have trouble switching out onto guards? Sure, but not every team can build a 1 through 5 switchable lineup. It's just impossible. There's not that many people in the world to make that many teams that can do that. You know what I mean? It's the goal. Yeah. 1 through 5
Magic
switch.
might be able to do it, baby.
Maybe length and athleticism.
At least with our young guys.
Like, in 5 years.
In 5 years, we're going to have a fucking
Markel. 5-0 in the Markel era.
Isaac, and Bamba. That's a
good start.
Yeah.
And then Fournier hurts you. Fournier hurts you.
Yeah.
But will he still be there in 5 years?
But, I mean, like, Wes Iwundu is another.
How switchable is Aaron Gordon? He seems like he should be. He's so athletic.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But a lot of people criticize his...
Is it an IQ thing?
One of the reasons why he can't guard... Like, why he shouldn't
He has a hard time guarding threes.
Yeah, he has a hard time guarding threes. Yeah.
I wonder why that is.
I think he just
it can't be a speed thing.
I think lateral quickness.
Quickness is a quickness thing. That makes sense. Yeah, dude, go guard like Kawhi or Kevin Durant. without quickness. Good luck.
Yeah.
Or Giannis. Can we got to talk about the All-Stars a little bit though.
Yeah.
So the 3-point shootout was a lot of fun. Shout out Joe Harris. Steph was great in his hometown. I felt bad for Kemba. I wanted Kemba to do better, like in the 3-point shootout. In the game, he didn't really assert himself in the game. He didn't really take that many shots.
Do you feel like he was like a dude on his way out of a relationship that's trying to be like less interesting so that his girlfriend doesn't like him as much?
I didn't feel that way, but I did ask you while we were watching the game, like, do you think that if Charlotte falls out of the playoff spot, that he'll leave guaranteed? And you said yes, which I agree with. Yeah, I think that dude deserves to be on a winning team. It's like, come on, get that dude some players, MJ. What are you doing? But yeah, the dunk contest was overall not great, but the Dennis Smith Jr. dunk with J. Cole was really cool, and the Hamidou Diallo dunk with Shaq, and he had the Superman shirt on underneath. That was awesome.
Yeah, it was cool.
That was awesome.
It was cool.
It was no Zach LaVine, Aaron Gordon, but it was fun.
Right. And I didn't know that Hamidou, like I haven't seen him play like more than 5
just
minutes.
snippets,
Like I've just seen like
that dude
little parts.
I was really disappointed that I was sad that Derrick Jones Jr. got hurt because he was supposed to be in it, and like he would have been way better at John Collins' Airplane one because his nickname is Airplane Mode.
Yeah.
Bring out the Tuskegee Airmen and do it dude. He kicked the airplane. He blew it.
Yeah,
he blew it.
Fucked it up.
Oh man, he blew it. Jason Tatum hit that cool half court shot. I like how Luka kept trying it.
That's that should be the betting favorite, right? Like is like the people who can shoot in the skill challenge.
So here's my thing. The skill challenge kind of sucks.
Yeah, it's the weakest.
It's really
of the
lame.
3. Yeah,
it's really lame, but at the same time, there's something cool about it. You know what I mean? It's like there should be a way to make a better skill challenge. I don't know what it is. I don't know, but it basically the biggest problem with it is that it comes down to who's going to hit the 3. Because even if you are up late, if the other person you're going against isn't a great shooter, you're going to miss. And the thing that I don't like about it is that we already have an event to celebrate shooters.
Right.
There's a 3-point shootout. Why does the most important part of the skill challenge be about the 3-point shot? It's annoying. I don't know what it is. I don't
even think like it's like constructed to be that. They're like,
it just comes out that way.
Like the last thing is the 3-point shot.
Yeah, it just happens to end up that way.
Yeah.
Plus, like there's got to be a way to, show off passing prowess without it being just throw it through this tire. You know what I mean? How can we show off how good Jokic is at passing in like a set field like that? I don't know what it is. Moving targets or something? I don't know. I don't know what it is, but there should be something. Like I see football challenges, like Drew Brees does these things in the training camp every year with the Saints quarterbacks, where they do like every day they do a different challenge, and there's like targets that they throw balls at, and they do weird. They throw in the garbage bins like 60 yards downfield. Like they do weird stuff. There's got to be some way to make it seem harder. You know, like when you watch a skill challenge, you're like, I could do that. I'd be really slow, but I could do it. You know what I mean? But it's I want to be wowed by the skill. Like I said something that one time about like doing like a kind of horse, but not with shooting. And I don't think that's the right direction, but something where you can showcase your handles and your passing ability. Because I think that's what the skill challenge should celebrate, is the things that aren't shooting and aren't dunking. Your dribbling ability, your passing ability, the things that kind of go unnoticed a little bit. But I don't know how to do it. There's got to be a way, though.
Yeah, horse without shooting, that's pretty interesting.
Yeah, like do this crazy handle. That'd be kind of cool. But it'd be like watching dancing.
But the problem with it is like you would have like Jokic is one of the best passers, right?
But how do you?
But if you
do
have
it
Kyrie, if you have Kyrie in it,
and he's going up against Jokic and he does crazy dribbling, yeah. How does that work?
Yeah. But yeah, like and setting up an exercise like in order to try and fucking showcase someone's passing ability.
It's hard.
It's hard
really
because
hard to do.
I mean, because like throwing a ball through a hoop is only assessing their passing accuracy, right?
Yeah.
And like even someone who's a really good passer can fuck it up. Like
Yeah,
Trae
a lot
Young.
of people miss it.
Trae Young.
Jokic missed it on his first one.
Yeah.
And then like afterward, they asked either him or Jason Tatum. They're like, "What's the hardest part?" They're like, "The pass," because it's weird.
Yeah. And it's also like, but a majority of passing is not that, right?
Yeah.
Like it's the vision.
It's
the
anticipation.
right. Let's bring up the Tom Brady.
Anticipatory.
But yeah, the fakes,
Yeah.
you know, like the creative ability to
like
get
doing a cool pass out of the context of a game doesn't look that like if you put Jokic at the top of the key and he just did like an over the head kind of no look pass, it'd be like you just threw the ball.
Yeah.
Like cool. Yeah, I don't know how you could do it.
That's why I feel like, okay, so we just watched the All-Star game. I feel like shit gets more, obviously it's more interesting when they actually compete.
In the fourth quarter.
But I feel like the players themselves start to become more creative.
Oh, so here's I'll say this about the All-Star game. You hear a lot of, especially older people, talk shit about the All-Star game. They call it the best pickup game in basketball, you know, that kind of stuff. But I kind of love it. I love that it, like the first 3 quarters is this just celebration of skill. Look what we're capable of doing. That Steph bounce pass lob to Giannis is one of the coolest things I've ever seen in a basketball game. It's nuts. Like, you know, throwing lobs off backboards and the fun connections between like Giannis and Middleton popping off in the second quarter was super fun. Like just little things like that you just in a game where you have to compete to win and you can't mess around in the way you can in a pickup game and maybe show off your full skill. Like Steph threw that one behind the back pass where the behind the back lob that the whoever it was couldn't finish. But it was like, oh, that's just
I'm
it's
pretty
crazy.
sure it was Giannis.
I think it might have been. It's crazy how creative Steph was tonight. But I do also understand and agree with that the game needs to be competitive in some way too. So I love that basically for the first 3.5 quarters, they mess around and show off their skills. And then the fourth quarter, they buckle down and they actually try to win the game, which the only thing that I'm like, I get that it's a 3-point league and that there's a ton of great shooters, but the fact that so many dudes take like 30-foot threes and like, I think both teams shot around 34% from 3 tonight. And it's like, you're better than that. You're better shooters than that. But you're taking so many dumb threes because it's just a silly game that it's like, I would have rather watched you do some cool dribbling and got a cool pass off to a dunk. Like, it's more fun to watch.
Yeah.
You know what I wish there was more of? I wish there was more of, like, one-on-one challenges. It happened, like, a couple... Like, Steph posted up Clay.
Russ did it a few times.
Clay posted up Steph, I mean.
Yeah.
Russ did it. Like, that is so fun. Like, when you single a guy, you're like, okay, there's a narrative here, and I'm going to take, like, I'm Steph Curry, and I'm on your team.
Like, on the personalities of the players.
Exactly.
Russ, like, who were the 2 guys that Russ did it to? Do you remember?
I don't remember, no. I don't know if I caught Russ's.
And Anthony Davis.
Okay.
Right?
So he wants to slay the dragon.
Yeah, exactly. You know, like he says, I'm going to fucking conquer these dudes.
Exactly.
And he didn't score either time, but...
Which, I mean, that's like a thing
it's
of...
still interesting.
That's like a case study on Russ's season.
Yeah.
But, and then Steph's, he goes at it after his teammates in a fun way. Like he, I think Clay posted him up, and then he got KD on a nasty move, I think. Yeah, it's... and then obviously there's things like we had to get a D-Wade to LeBron lob. They almost recreated the picture from the Heatles era. If D-Wade just looked at the camera. Yeah. I saw a really sweet... I saw it on our Heat. I saw the picture on Reddit. And somebody in the comments was like, it's actually like kind of poetic that he's looking back because it's like he's looking back on his career and looking back at basketball. And I was like, that's actually really cool. I really like that. Yeah. And he caught a lot from LeBron too. That boy can still jump. That's my dad. Yeah. I think the All-Star Game's a ton of fun. I love watching it.
I'll pose this question. Who do you think is the future of the NBA?
Giannis.
I would agree.
Like, come on. That dude is unstoppable. It's crazy. Length.
Yeah.
If he can get his shooting up, which apparently lately he's been doing, he's been shooting better from 3 lately.
Yeah.
He still has like a really long motion.
Yeah.
Which... he might always have. His arms are like, sometimes I see you on a shoot and I'm like, maybe he's not capable just physically of having a good shooting motion because his arms are so long.
Right.
It's like he's got to fling the whole thing up there. It's just in terms of science, he can't do it.
Yeah, but he's also like.
And do you ever think that having hands too big can hurt your shooting? Have you ever thought about that?
I think about that all the time because I have
You
super
have tiny hands,
yeah.
yeah. Because it also hurts your shooting, probably. Yeah. But in the opposite, having really big hands probably hurts you because you can't get the right rotation on the ball. I don't know, man.
I've heard that as like a reason why bigs are so bad at free throw shooting.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
The size of their hands.
Yeah, I can see that. I never thought about that. Yeah, because you always hear it's like they're bad at free throw shooting because they spend their whole life dunking on every kid around them. Yeah. So they just never practice shooting. Yeah. The All-Star game was fun, though. Fun event. KD won MVP. We didn't even know. We were like, who's going to MVP? And I was like, maybe Damian Lillard. He popped off in the second half. And Clay was shooting amazing in the second half. Maybe one of them. They got him back into the game. They were down by like 18, and their shooting got him back in the game. And they're like, oh, Kevin Durant. And I was like, what? And they were like, yeah, he had 31 points on 6 of 9 from 3. I was like, makes sense. I didn't even notice he scored so much. Just a classic KD game.
Makes sense.
What do you have like a thing you're most hyped for in the final push?
Oh, I mean, obviously
the Magic, but Magic. Like outside of the Magic.
Outside of the Magic, what are the things that I'm most hyped for in the NBA in the last third of the season?
Quarter, even less than a third.
Oh, really?
2, 4, 6. It's like I don't know. It's neither of those things.
In the last 3/8 of the season.
Or maybe it is a quarter. I don't know.
I think the playoffs in the
Eastern
Eastern
Conference are
Conference
going to be really good this year.
I think the playoffs are going to be really good, especially with the Eastern Conference.
I think both conferences, because I mean, you're thinking about like the top of the East, right?
Yeah.
And how competitive the top 4 teams are. Well, imagine now. Think about how like 2 through 9 is in the West.
Right.
Everyone but the Warriors is like, come on. The Nuggets and the Thunder have separated themselves record-wise a little bit from the field. They're up higher at 2 and 3. But 4 through I think 9 or 10 is like
still really competitive.
Yeah.
And I think it's going to be really competitive 6 through 8 or 6 through 10 or whatever with the East as well.
In a different way. It's like who can stop being shitty
with the contenders seeing like in the East, seeing who's going to settle where. Who would you bet on getting the top seed in the East?
Top seed, the Bucks. They're not going to lose that.
You think so?
Yeah, no way, dude. I think the Bucks are going to win the East. I think the Bucks are I think the Bucks are slept on.
I would bet on the Bucks to win the East, but I think that the Raptors are going to have the best record going into the playoffs.
You think they're going to pass the Bucks?
They have the easiest schedule going
I don't know anything about
forward
the schedule
of the entire NBA.
That's messed up. How'd that happen?
Yeah.
Oh, and they have like the same record right now. They're only 1 game back. Okay, yeah, makes sense. I could see that.
And they also just traded for Marc Gasol, which might.
Yeah, but the Bucks traded for Mirotic.
Yeah,
that's part of the fun thing about. I agree about the top of the Eastern Conference, just because the arms race thing, how those teams all made moves except the Celtics.
But seeing those 4 teams in the playoffs is probably the thing I'm most hyped for. I mean, that's like I think that's going to be crazy fun.
I'm excited. I guess like there's some like weirdly specific. Like I'm really excited to watch a Kings playoff game at home. There's something about a crowd.
Sacramento's gonna love it, right?
There's something about a crowd that has been playoff depleted for so long. Like the same thing would happen to Orlando if they make it.
Oh yeah.
Like it's just they're gonna go nuts.
Yeah.
They're gonna go so. I have so much respect for a raucous stadium, like how Oracle gets when Steph or Clay get hot, or how Memphis gets in the grit and grind era. They would go crazy. Yeah, I love things like that. It's so fun to watch. I love a good home crowd. But yeah, playoffs are going to be, I think they're going to be a lot of fun. So you think do you think the Raptors will finish with the best record, but the Bucks will win the East?
Yes.
Dude, I feel like the Bucks are somehow underrated.
Yeah?
Yeah, I feel like whenever you hear people talk about like the East arms race, almost everyone talks about the Sixers because it's like the hot button thing to talk about. And it's like, I get it, but I don't think they're going to mesh quick enough. I think if you give them a whole offseason next year, they're going to be really dangerous as long as they can fill out a bench.
Right.
That's going to be the hardest part.
They bring back all 4 guys.
I don't even know if they have to bring back all 4, even if they bring back 3 of them.
Yeah? So you think that like either Jimmy or Tobias Harris?
I think obviously with all 4 of them, it's better. And don't forget JJ Redick. I think is he on a 1-year deal again, or is he on a multi-year deal?
No, he was on a 1-year deal
again.
I think. Yeah.
Okay.
I think
Yeah.
he signed a
So
1-year deal.
like every year, I don't know how that's going to work with them just being able to bring him back in terms of money. And they gave up their potential replacement for him, Landry Shamet.
Sham God.
He was the future JJ Redick for them.
Who's on the Clippers now?
Yeah.
Dude, fucking. We need.
Yo,
to go
him and
see
Shea.
We need to go.
We gotta
see
go
a
watch him and Shea,
fucking
yeah.
Clippers game.
That'd be cool.
They're cheap.
Yeah, they're like 1/20th the price of a Lakers.
We're gonna
ticket.
go see it like next season when fucking Markelle Fultz is healthy.
You mean when the Heat come to LA?
I'll go see it. I'll go see a Heat fucking Clippers game.
When future All-Star Justice Winslow is running the Heat next year?
A fucking Heat Clippers or Magic Clippers when they come to LA is gonna be sick.
Yep.
We'll see that.
Yeah, go see both. They're probably going to be around the same time they were this year. They both went on their Western road trip at like the same time. That'll be fun. But we should try to go see a Clippers game before the year ends. We were looking at some. I think we saw like the Nets were coming maybe.
Yeah, which would
that would be a really good
they're
one.
Like cheap, but they're also like that would be fun to see.
Yeah, we
Fun
should
to
do
watch.
that. We can do like a tcaks exclusive. I don't know. We'll just talk about going to the game. We'll rate their popcorn like Steph Curry does or something. I don't know. There's one more thing that we haven't talked about related to basketball.
What's that?
Remember how the Duke game went? I got to give you your shot at the Duke corner.
Okay.
They were down 27, right? I think was their biggest deficit to Louisville. In Louisville, a ranked Louisville team. Duke was number 2. Duke was down 27.
Mm-hmm. And they came back.
And they came back and won.
The-
It was Coach K's biggest comeback win ever.
Right. By the graces of their lockdown full
Lockdown,
court.
dude.
It's full court trap, right? Like there's a difference between a full court press and a full court trap.
Sure. Well, I think you full court press people and then you choose
Trap
to
them,
trap.
right?
Yeah, because you can trap kind of anywhere.
Okay, but they played full court defense, and that
Dude,
the
more I
couldn't
watch,
handle it.
Like it's funny because like tanking teams they like lust over Zion, and then like teams who aren't quite as good at tanking they like lust over RJ Barrett.
Right.
I lust over Trey Jones.
Yeah.
Watching that, I was like, dude, like if the Heat make the playoffs and then with a mid-round, like like the 13th pick or something, give me Trey Jones. That dude fits perfect. And we need a backup point guard so bad. We needed a backup point guard for like 4 years. Oh, he would fit so good. That defensive mentality.
So, are you guys gonna have Goran next year?
He has a player option, so unless we trade him, we will, because there's no way he opts out. He's owed like $20 million.
Right.
No way he opts out of that. He comes back apparently soon after the All-Star break ends. So I don't know if that means like 2 weeks or what. I don't know what's going to happen in terms of our lineup. I don't think they can afford to not have Justice Winslow start at point guard anymore. He's been too good. And I think Goran could kill bench lineups. Like, he could just destroy them. Doesn't mean he doesn't close games. But the thing is, like, Goran has never really been a closer.
Do you guys have Dion starting?
Hell yeah, yeah. Yeah. We started him once we traded Tyler Johnson.
Oh, that's right.
And Derek Jones was hurt. So we were like, Dion's going to start now.
So
it was either...
You're not starting Ryan Anderson?
Rhino hasn't even played since we got him. And he probably never will.
He's like a more talented Timothy Mozgov.
He's like a worse Kelly Olynyk, who we already have.
Right.
Yeah.
But at least Kelly gets minutes, right?
Kelly's been playing. He was playing like complete trash,
right?
And lately he's been playing really well again.
Right.
He's really streaky, and he's like Kelly Olynyk. I think has a reputation as like a bad defender, but he's only a bad one-on-one defender. He's actually a really good team defender. It's weird. He's like really good at drawing charges and getting like backdoor steals and like off-ball blocks, like really weird stuff. Like he has a good team basketball IQ, but he just isn't quick enough to guard people, especially because he plays the 4 a lot.
Quick enough, nor like physically gifted. He's not very long.
And he plays the 4 most of the time
athletic.
next to Bam or Hassan. He's been starting. That's been our new Justice, Dion, J. Rich, Kelly Olynyk, Hassan has been our newest starting lineup. We've had like 12 starting lineups this year or something stupid like that. Inconsistency is the Heat's biggest fault. And turnovers. We turn the ball over like stupid, crazy amount. It's super annoying. But yeah, that Duke game was super hype.
It was insane.
It was weird because I think I was watching a game, the Heat game or something like that, and you had on your computer, you had on the Duke game, and like you just kept being like, "Holy shit, look how much they're down by," and I was like, in the back of my mind, I was like, Zion's not even in the game right now. He's gonna check back in and bring energy.
But he also
I thought they're gonna make a push, and it's gonna be fun to watch.
Mm-hmm.
So once the game and I put it on the TV on my computer, and I was like,
yeah. I mean, like that's why I kept.
I was right.
That's why I kept the game on. Just
and
in case
I
something
said
like
to you,
that
I was like,
happened.
the Jay Billis rule, dude. If you can cut it to 10 by the time there's 4 minutes left in college basketball, you've got a shot. And they did it with like 5 minutes left. They cut it to 10, and I was like, dude, they're gonna win this game.
Yeah.
The momentum changed so much that it was like there was nothing Louisville could do to unbury themselves. It was crazy. That defense, dude, that full court. Like, not only was it working in the full court where they were trapping them and stuff, but even when they got past it, then they would make just some stupid pass, and basically Zion was playing free safety.
So I forgot who said this. I'm not sure if it was like Urban Meyer or something like that, but like they talked about how important momentum was with young athletes.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Right?
Yeah.
And it was exhibited in that game.
Yeah.
You know, like when you have Louisville just completely collapsing, like, and just making a lot of mental mistakes, and they just couldn't handle the surge from.
They do this thing on PTI, which is like my favorite sports show. I love PTI; it's great. But they do this thing where they're like, was the game? Did Duke come back and win because of Duke's greatness or because Louisville choked so hard? And I hate that question.
Because it's both.
Well, yes, it's both, but at the same time, it's like they choked because of the defensive effort. That's what did it. You know what I mean? Like,
but they could have also like if
they could have overcome it.
Yeah,
yeah.
Well, and
they could have executed
in
properly.
the NBA, like because you know they're a little bit older. You know, like they would have made more better decisions. You know, they would have been able to pass out of that stifling defense a little bit better.
It's
you know?
weird how
they wouldn't. Like I think that that there's a better mental resiliency when it comes with more mature players, and that's why like guys
or
like
even
LeBron,
why teams with a bunch of seniors.
Yeah,
I mean, I don't know Louisville's team makeup, but
if you're 4 years older, especially 18
you have that much more
versus
experience.
22.
Yeah. But like, it's weird that like in the NBA, like you don't see that much full court. The Heat do little things defensively. I don't know how much other teams do it. The Heat will sometimes full court press you, and they'll go zone sometimes. Not many teams do those things.
Right. But
in the NBA, and it's weird.
Outside of like the full court press idea, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like if you, I mean, Orlando Magic's a good example, right? Like, but like you should be able to fight back surges, right?
Oh
like,
yeah, that's part of the game.
Yeah, it's part of the game.
Back when,
but more mature
back when
players are able to,
back when Coach Tony Fiorentino was calling all the Heat games, that I missed him doing that job. Not that John Carty's bad, but Tony was just fun dude. He would do in his thick New York accent. He would always talk about how the home team always makes a run, and you always have to be ready for it. So when we're on away games, sometimes we'd go down by 12, 15, 16, and he'd be like, you're always ready for that. Now you just got to fight back. It's fine. That's the way basketball works. And you always hear people talk about how basketball is a game of rhythm and a game of runs. So that's why when big surges happen, I don't turn games off. If a team goes down by 20, 25, I don't turn a game off. Because basketball is so constant, it's still fun to watch. Just to see, something crazy can happen.
That's why garbage time is still fun to watch.
Yeah, it's still fun to watch. Someone could do something crazy in the middle of a bad game.
Mel Frazier Jr. can fucking throw down a windmill fucking tomahawk
something
dunk.
insane can happen at any time. It's still fun. But also, I never really count teams out until that. Like, I'm like, they can still put, if they push to this limit. And I kind of push the rule, that Jay Billis rule in the NBA to 3 minutes, because I feel like you can make up points a little quicker, especially with better shooters. But yeah, that game was lit.
It's a good game.
Can we do shout-outs?
Oh, shit, I don't have a shout-out. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. Look through your journal with nothing in it to find your shout-out.
This notebook has stuff in it.
Oh, okay. So, I'm gonna do a shout-out that, like, you might be like, that's a lame shout-out, but I'm going to shout out the IMDb app because I feel like a lot of people probably don't even know what it is.
Okay. Yeah. Go ahead. Yeah.
So we talked about it before, and you always see me like I hop on my phone to get information quickly. It's because I use the IMDb app for like all things movie related. It stands for the International Movie Database, and basically you can hop on there, and you can look up any movie that's ever been made and any actor and any director, producer, screenwriter, cinematographer, editor, anything, and you can find all of their history of what they've been in and what they've worked on, and you can find what they're going to be in coming up, and you can make profiles on it, and you can rate movies, so you can add to like the ratings of, all IMDb movies have ratings for all movies, so you can sort of gauge. That's why we talk about the IMDb scale before when we talked about rating movies, and kind of like on IMDb, anything a 7 up is probably a really good movie. Anything from like 6 to 7, if it's in a genre you like, you'll probably enjoy. Anything sub 5 is a complete trash movie. It's kind of how it goes. Even in the 5s is probably still pretty bad. But yeah, so if you're ever like, yo, how does Kyle think of these things so fast? I don't. I just hop on my phone really quick and type in the name I'm looking for. And the other cool thing, I think IMDb also has like a news section. So you can see announcements for casting, and they have new trailers that are always on the top of the app that come out. So the IMDb app, Internet Movie Database, if you want to stay up with film news and casting news and announcements for movies that are being made, it's a great resource. Also, our movies on Reddit and following people on Twitter that do that kind of thing, also good resources for keeping up with those things. What you got? What's your journal find you?
I got one.
Shout out IKEA.
Sure. Yeah, shout out to IKEA for being a fairly good furniture. IKEA's greatest asset, like the
there's just so
thing
much
about
there.
It's fine. I feel like a lot of that stuff, like the IKEA-ness of IKEA, is kind of like
overrated
and kind of tertiary. You know, but the main function of IKEA, like being able to look at something that's completely built.
Oh, that's true. Yeah,
right?
Finished product displayed.
And being able to buy that thing like in a condensed form and throw it in your car so that you don't need
a moving truck like we had to do today.
A moving truck.
We got this dope ass recliner though.
Yeah. I'll shout out another video essay.
Ooh, like you did back with the music guy?
So I've done 2 thus far, I believe. I think I've mentioned lessons from the screenplay as well.
Oh, that's right. Yes.
Inside the score.
Yes, you did both of those. Yep.
I'm gonna shout out another one.
Do it.
Called Nerd Writer.
Nerd Writer
does he does a lot of movie, TV show related video essay stuff. I can't think of a specific one right now as far as videos go.
Talk about them.
But pretty smart guy. Like I'll go back and forth as far as like some of the stuff that he talks about. But I like a lot of the video essays that he makes, so I'll recommend that.
Why are there so few smartphones in popular movies? How to be a better thinker. Problem with DC action scenes.
Right. A lot of specific things. It's not as
these are just ones that popped up when I googled his name.
His videos, his channel isn't as niche as like lessons from the screenplay or inside the score, because those are like very this is
very about that.
This is about
thing.
Scores, but yeah, he'll make like just.
So you said that you don't always agree with everything he says. I think that's kind of important. Getting information from people with different points of views on things, because they just help you see things in a different way. I think that's cool. So even if you follow someone or something that does things like that they don't always say things you agree with, it's good to be exposed to different thoughts. And then the most important thing is when you think like Nerd Writer says something that I don't agree with, then if you can formulate why you don't agree with it, that's a really important part of thinking and developing your own ideas.
Yeah.
So that's cool. So Nerd Writer, I'm assuming on YouTube.
Yes.
Yep. Nerd Writer and IMDb app, Internet Movie Database. Those are our shout outs. The poll is closed for February. You ready to go see Isn't It Romantic?
I am.
In like the next 2 days. And then,
do you ever vote?
No.
Yeah,
I feel like that taints the... Oh my God, you vote?
I don't vote.
Yo. isn't it? You wanted to see What Men Want, or did you? And it got slaughtered.
Yeah.
It got slaughtered.
And the landslide.
It was like 83% to 17%. So yeah, come back Thursday. We will have a belated love-themed episode, I guess.
Yeah.
Isn't it romantic? I hope it's good.
Isn't it romantic?
I am probably going to go see Fighting with my family, though. We probably won't. I'll talk about it either next week or
Are
whatever.
you excited for that movie?
I really like Florence Pugh.
Who's that?
She's the lead.
What's she in?
She was in Outlaw King. I talked about her on the show before.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, yo, get ready for her because she's going to be in Greta Gerwig's next movie. Yeah. She's going to blow up. I can feel it.
You know what I think of anytime I hear the name Florence?
Florence and the Machine.
No.
Really?
No.
What do you think of?
Florence Lawrence.
What is that?
Florence Lawrence is a very, very old actress.
Okay.
Like
good name.
One of the
ridiculous
ass name that sticks in your head.
Mm-hmm.
But she was like credited as like one of the first movie stars to ever.
Oh, okay. Very cool.
Yeah.
Good for you, Florence Lawrence.
Florence Lawrence.
From Florence Lawrence to Florence Pugh. Yeah. Come back later this week for Isn't It Romantic? Spoiler episode. Check out the show on all the social medias, The Chris and Kyle Show on Facebook, on Instagram, on YouTube, on all podcasting platforms. Like, share, rate, review, all that fun stuff. Comment on the videos and stuff. Chris wants you to change his name or something.
I don't want them to change.
Or you want good ideas for it?
Yeah, like
I'm telling you,
have
man.
some fun. I want to hear some ridiculous
Like
stuff.
it's cool to be like, tell me that, but don't be like if I get enough people that say this crazy name, I'll do it. Because then you'll be screwed.
Obviously, like this.
You don't want to be Chrissy McBoatface.
99.8% chance, right? That I'm not going to change my name.
Okay.
It's just gonna stay what it is.
But just give weird name ideas.
There's that 0.2% chance.
0.2%.
Right. If
you give a really good suggestion. Yeah. Find him, chrismichaelstott.com for his website. Chris Michael Stott on Instagram. Find me, Davinwell25, Twitter and Instagram. See my love of Bulbasaur or my live tweeting of random sports events. Dude, I saw that Bulbasaur still and I freaked out. I'm like officially all in on Detective Pikachu. I saw that and I was like, I love Bulbasaur too much. Mm-hmm. I tweeted the picture. I said, I will fight and die for him. Mm-hmm. And I will. We'll see you guys later. We out.
Stay weird.